Q&Asa. Game on daily. Asa. Game on daily.
Ew. Welcome to the world of Q&Asa. This is slightly experimental. I'm reckless and I'm experimenting with things that I shouldn't be experimenting with, including where's the OSD? Hopefully everything's going to go just swimmingly, but there have been a few changes and a few exciting alerts to look forward to. Happy New Year, everybody! This is end of 2023 special show, but it is still Q&Asa. It is still this channel where the past, present, and future of gaming all converge, and we just talk a bunch. Tony, I'm sorry that you had to endure an advert on YouTube, but thank you. I'm sure I'm going to get paid at least half a penny for your trouble and your time. I'm on Twitch as well today. This is part of the experiment. There's lots of things happening right now, so I'm going to try and keep it all together and all, you know, smooth and seamless and perfect. Painful Discourse, welcome. I saw For the Win and Isla and probably more people Sure, Pete's there. Brian Scully, you have a list of awards you're giving out. No, nothing as formal and organised as that. So the main thing that we're doing on the show today is coming right up after a word from our sponsor. Our sponsor is Game On Daily, website news aggregation platform, one that you'll be seeing more and more over time. The more I do these kind of shows and streams to talk about the news that's coming through. There's news coming through there all the time. Not so much like during this Christmassy holiday season where all of the writers and content creators are putting their feet up and having a relax, but typically quite a lot goes through there. Even now, actually, it's not quiet. There's been bunches of stuff going through, reviews and news and interviews and all the rest of it. So that's Game On Daily. That's our sponsor for the day and forever. It's not a real spot. Oh, I wonder, do you know what? All of the stuff that I've done since hitting 1,000 subscribers on YouTube has been immediately demonetized. And I wonder if it's because they think I'm not declaring a real legitimate sponsorship. YouTube is fake. It's me. I'm Game On Daily. Don't take it away. Anyway, now that we've got that out there, let's talk a little bit about the show, because you never know. There might be some people coming along on Twitter or new subscribers on YouTube that don't know how this works. It's a conversation. You talk to me, you talk to each other in chat there. I can see Game On Pete's there now. Replicant, how you doing? We had this conversation, we go back and forth. Everything gets derailed and goes completely wild. But it's fun. And that's it. Nice conversation. If that's not good enough, if you feel that your messages are being missed, or if you just, you got some spare money lying around and you want to support the channel and the show, then you can super chat. I used to say that was illegal and you weren't allowed to do it. I used to set a minimum price of thousands and thousands of dollars to deter people from doing the old super chats, but now I take these things very seriously. So you are under no obligation to, but if you feel like it, then you're welcome to super chat. Option 3 is the YouTube Q&A box. At some point in the near future, a Q&A box is going to appear from YouTube. If you're on YouTube, you can stick any questions in there, and we address those at the end of the show one by one and get every single one of them. Option 4, Discord. If you are in the very special Discord server, you can stick stuff in there. Anything, Tony, anything you want. You can stick messages in the Discord channel over the course of the week, or if you actually want to get your face and your voice on the internet, then you can stick yourself in one of the waiting rooms. So pop yourself in there, stick yourself in the waiting room, talk about what you want to talk about, and I'm sure everyone will love to see and hear you. And option 17 is, I don't know, that might be all the options. Thank you, Isla, for linking the Discord onto YouTube. If you could perhaps put it on Twitch as well, then that would be wonderful. There's no one there. I don't have an established Twitch presence, but it's going to appear over time. There is no option Knuckles anymore. The Discord joining ceremony process is very different to what it used to be. It's you will jump into the Discord that Isla's just linked there, and you will see the waiting rooms available to the left. Familiars is for people that aren't currently a part of the Discord membership tiers, all the rest of it. If you are a member, then you can see a whole bunch of tiers and waiting rooms on the left. You just stick yourself in the highest one that you can see, and I will prioritize those as I can if anyone happens to want to talk to me. Speaking of memberships on the YouTube channel, this is the duration of this show. When this show ends, the last opportunity to become a founding badger will have passed you by. So I have many membership tiers. You can have a look at those, see some of the perks and things. They're just like, I'm not trying to sell these to you. They're just a way to support me if you want to support me. But what I have promised is that everybody that is a member by the time this show finishes, any tier, so the lowest tier, the £3 tier is just fine. If anyone is a member by the end of this show, you get special founding badges start for being here from the beginning, which will get you all of the perks from all of the tiers for life, basically. So that's an option if you want to become a member, and I hope that somebody becomes a member today, because I set up some fancy new alerts and I really want to know if they work. But if you become a member, badger for life. It's very enticing, is it not? Remake Station, thank you. Yeah, the 1k subs was a grueling battle to get there, but I have eventually made it through. Joe Popper, how you doing? Let's start like we normally do and talk about some games. Is the background the Resident Evil 4 remake? No, it is not. So what's everyone been playing this week? You've all had a bit more time than usual, right? Like everyone's had a little bit of time off. I've been mostly configuring Twitch, YouTube, OBS, all that kind of stuff to get these fancy alerts going. Please someone become a member. I want to see it. Took hours to figure out. Probably won't work. Brian Scully, you've been on the Alan Wake 2. How are you finding it? I'm still undecided if it's my kind of game. Because I didn't get along with the first one, and I know that like the mind mess is a part of it, but it's more the pacing and the combat and things like that. I just need to decide if it's really for me or not. It's got that full path tracing mode. I want to see it just on the tech front, but I'm not in a rush either. The Crew Motorfest and Dead Island 2, you got both on sale cheaply. I've got access to the Crew Motorfest on the Ubisoft Plus thing. At Remake Station, are you doing those on the PlayStation? Oh no, your name's Remake Station 5. That means you hate PlayStation, doesn't it? So you're playing them on Xbox. You love Game Daily. You're showing some love to me and Gaz all the way from Montreal, Canada. Thank you. Much, much, much appreciated. For the win, you've been jumping on a bunch of different games. Indies, Halo, Resident Evil 4 for the 7th. Something scrolled too much for the 7th run. Please tell me about the Indies. Indies, they need that extra bit of push and aid in their discoverability. You need to be really specific about what they are so I know if they're worth playing. Cullen Prime, you're another one that's joined the MetaQuest 3 group. You got it for Christmas with 128 gigabytes. You have to be selective of what you keep on the headset. There's not many games that are huge. Asgard's Wrath 2 is like 31 gig, and that's like the biggest. I think the Medal of Honor game, if that's still kicking around, was quite big. But apart from that, you'll be able to store a bunch on there. You don't need to be that selective. Obviously, you'll run out of space, but it won't be that different from like the console experience because the games are just a lot smaller. You finished Bramble and Sea of Solitude. Did you enjoy the last boss of Bramble? So Popper, have I finished Asgard's Wrath 2? I've barely started it, honestly. I've had a go, I had a look at it, and I'm intrigued and I want to play it. Ideally, I'd like to finish Asgard's Wrath 1 first, but I lost my save file, so it requires starting again. Cullen Prime, how are you finding your Quest 3? Isla's just got one yesterday as well. Tom, you're still stuck on adult Minecraft teardown. Must have finished the campaign by now. You've had like time off, haven't you? Smooth Dog, I see you there. It's been ages. How you doing? Space Denizen is another resident VR face who plays PlayStation VR 2 and Quest 3. So you're in good company, Cullen Prime. There's a bunch of us, and I mean to set up in the next couple of days, probably tomorrow, a nice Quest walkabout mini golf multiplayer session. I think you can get a good number of people in there, so it'll be a nice way to test it. The MetaQuest really needs Discord support. It would make things so much easier to do crossplay with PC and all the rest of it and just get everybody involved, but I don't think that's coming anytime soon. Space Denizen, you can't wait to hit Bramble with the injector. That'll be an interesting one, yeah. So long as I've not played Bramble, but from what I understand of it, it's 3D but entirely side-scrolling, right? So it would need to have enough rendered for it to work in that scenario so that you can look around a little bit and not just get void to the lefty and to the right. Either way, the perspective will be fun, but you know what I mean. But when you just put an indie game, they always run a 2D beat 'em up game. You don't know how you feel about it yet. You got to give it more time. Fair. I think it was Steam said that I played loads of 2D beat 'em ups this year in my yearly roundup. I can't think of a single one that I've played, but it was like, yeah, you played loads of them, even more than you played stealth games. Which was a curious mislabeling. Remake Station, you got MetaQuest 3 unused open box for like 275, but then someone snuck up and took it. What an arse. I'm sorry to hear that. No one wants to get robbed. You saw the Gran Turismo movie, it was much better than you thought. Really good acting, but you prefer the Forza game, but you did enjoy the movie. Yeah, I mean, makes sense, doesn't it? The movie's not that related to playing a game. Color Prime, the head strap is way too tight on your head and it pulls your hair. You went to Amazon to get a third-party strap and case that will fit. Yeah, a lot of people, like the part of the cost cutting for the Quest it was the same for the Quest 2. There's a big market for the aftermarket third-party head straps and things, so hope you get a good one. But how are you finding the headset apart from that? Are you enjoying it? Well, it's not always side-scrolling for Bramble, shows what I know. There's loads of games that I want to play with the Unreal Injector when it comes about. Painful Discourse. the last boss wasn't as bad as people say on Bramble, as checkpoints between phases. I have mixed feelings on boss checkpoints. Because on the one hand, it can be really frustrating to have a lengthy boss fight and go back to the beginning because you died near the end. And it can very quickly wear thin. But at the same time, for me, when I am doing a boss and I'm not really having that difficult time and I get to like the last phase and I just like slip up in some stupid way and have an unfortunate death, if it restarts me from a checkpoint, it feels like I cheated. Like I didn't get the opportunity to win that fight properly anymore. They took that away from me. And that's happened in a few games this year, but you picked up 30 games for the Injector already. I'm sure I've got so many. I'm kind of curious to see. I know on the Injector, so for those that don't know, I'm talking about Prey Dog's Unreal Injector. It was supposed to come out at the tail end of this year. That's not going to happen. So hopefully early next year, this framework comes out that lets any Unreal Engine 4 and 5 game just work in VR. And there's a big old list of games that they've checked. There's a YouTube channel. What's the YouTube channel that keeps demoing them that has an unrelated name? Anyway, there's plenty of good examples. Things like Ghostwire Tokyo look brilliant in it. There's a first-person playthrough the Ascent and stuff like that. But a lot of it's going to depend. I want other people to do the work and really polish up each and every game, because otherwise I'm going to fall off all the ladders. That's how VR works. What's the best mixed reality game, in my opinion? I've barely touched mixed reality, Cullen Prime. I'm very much a VR head. The augmented and mixed stuff doesn't appeal to me as much. I think it's mostly fairly gimmicky, but from what I hear from having my finger on the pulse, Lego Brick Tales is a very good one. What's the other one? There's a track game, like you build little tracks for your cars and drive them around your furniture and stuff. That's supposed to be a very good mixed reality one as well. Some Souls bosses could do with checkpoints at the second phase. They also wouldn't like that. Exactly, Tom. It's difficult, isn't it? Torn in the middle. Joe Papa, do I think that video game remakes should have their own category at the Game of the Year Awards? I stand against almost everyone when I say no, I don't think they should. I think they should just... I don't think any game should be ineligible for the Ultimate Game of the Year Award. That's not to say you couldn't have a separate category that recognises the remakes. But I don't think, like if you're talking the ultimate singular, this is the best thing of the year, nothing should be excluded. And whether you would consider the fact that it's a remake and hold that against it, like it loses points for innovation and originality and all the rest of it, absolutely. But they shouldn't be excluded. Otherwise, you end up with like Game of the Year, but it's like in specific subgenres and various things are excluded, and then it's not really Game of the Year anymore. Not that those awards were anything other than a big cluster of mess anyway, but Space Citizen, you think it can still happen, but what was the point of saying 2023 really probably was intended that? Yeah, it's only like 1.5 people, so it's not like when Microsoft or Sony or whatever set a release date and then delay it and everyone goes, boo, good game's gonna be bad forever or whatever the saying is, you know. This is someone doing it in their spare time as a favour to the world for no personal gain, so they can do what they want and release it when they want. How's it going, Mav? What have you been playing? Either you like stumbling around your house with the pass-through thing? Yes, do you play, you got Wallace and Gromit, didn't you? Have you played that any? Chronic, Discord, you can sideload it and call someone and message people, but you can't join servers, and more importantly, you can't have background audio yet. Yeah, Chronic, it's exactly those things that I need Discord for. What I want to be able to do, because there's quite a few games that are cross-platform between PC and Quest, and I have a lot more power when I'm on the PC. Not just in terms of the game itself, but in terms of being able to record and stream and all that kind of stuff. And just flexibility from a PC environment. I would very much like to be able to organise things for my Discord, bring people in there and play games together. Space Citizen, you've been digging Brick Tales, but you don't play it in mixed reality as it takes a graphical hit. Yeah, fair enough. Demio you can play in mixed reality as well. There's like, the mixed reality doesn't add anything to it except being able to see your children and pets or whatever. But you can. So, some fair examples. For Game of the Year or Ultimate Game of the Year? Ultimate Game of the Year? I mean, they're the same thing, right? The single pinnacle title has to be the Ultimate Game of the Year. Not much going on in the gaming news. No, you wouldn't expect a lot to be going on in the gaming news though, because everyone does take, or at least the entirety of the West takes time off. I don't know how much time off they take in Japan or any other territories really, but definitely a big slowdown, at least in the coverage, if not in the development. And for the win, FTW, the background is not Harry Potter. I'm surprised no one's got the background yet, actually, because there are a couple of glowing, very distinct clues that I would have thought would give it away. Tom, I'm talking to Replicant. I should mind my own damn business. Mav, you're on Fortnite in the finals. Tell me about Fortnite. What are you playing on Fortnite? Because Fortnite is almost akin to saying like I'm playing on Xbox or something. It's just a massive platform with tons and tons of games. So I need to know what you've been playing. Tony's Power. And Alex says we need more MMO games. MMO games are dangerous. My favorite genre that I don't play. I would love it if there were some that were more like the games that I used to play and less like World of Warcraft. So I don't think we're going to see it, but don't disagree. Finals is a lot more fun than you thought it would be. I've only had the 2 rounds of the finals. I love that stuff gets blown up. I was running around kind of like a headless chicken. There's a lot of verticality in the maps and a lot of like hearing gunfire and action in a place that I don't really know how to get to. So besides that, I think if I played it more, I'd enjoy it a bit. But I don't think I'd enjoy it as much as Halo Infinite, because on Halo Infinite I can understand what's happening. I can see the enemies and shoot them. Not well, I can shoot near them, you know. Shut up, Tony. Ryan, it's markedly easier to remake and all the time and get the Game of the Year. Listen, it shouldn't be easy to get Game of the Year though. Like Resident Evil 4 is the example that was nominated this year, and it didn't win it obviously. But it wasn't much less effort than making a fresh game, was it? I'd be shocked if something like The Last of Us 2 remaster is nominated in 2024, because everyone can recognize like, how much work has gone into it and how similar it is to the original. I don't think you need to strip its eligibility to take it out of the nominations, because it's done on merit. So if they can stand on their own, then good for them. Wouldn't expect many of them to be able to, if that makes sense. Paying for this because you love Souls, you'd hate checkpoints in boss fights, but for puzzle bosses, if implemented correctly, story-wise, you're okay with having them. Yes, puzzle bosses, like, that's different. But I had it happen on one encounter in God of War Ragnarok, and I was so mad that I couldn't... I'm not an emotional guy, but it was a little bit disappointing. How's it going, Kratos? I'm falling behind. I need to do a little scroll. Replicant, you need to play the finals. Have it installed because we'll multiplayer it up sometime. Replicant, you also need to friend me up on the meta platform so we can get in on the mini golf and other games. But here's the background Forza in the rain. That all could be going on outside the building, so it's not Dave Mack, but it's a good guess. And no, it's not Liza P. Come on. My accuracy was hundreds of % last night. What did we play last night? Oh, thank you, Tom. Yeah, I was pretty good. Alex, of course I answered your question. Which question? I'm doing my best, but there's a lot going on. Somebody become a member. I need to see the alert. Or the equivalent on Twitch, a subscriber on Twitch. It's so fancy. More fancy than like any alert anywhere. I'm overselling it, but the only problem with the finals is that it has the worst battle pass. So boring. I've not looked at the battle pass. Cosmetics do nothing for me. It is always disappointing when it's literally coloured skins and things. Replicant, you're Mr. No Mates on Meta. I'm Mr. No Mates on most platforms, but on Meta, yeah, you can. And I'm Isla, please confirm for me, am I Game On Space Asa, or am I something else? I think you should find me on my usual name on that platform. It's definitely Asa. I think it's got the Game On as well. But yeah, definitely do. I played... like, as a standalone platform, I was playing Dungeons of Eternity with Tony the other day, and as a standalone platform with like a party system and an invite system, we had a little bit of trouble, but broadly speaking, yeah, it worked and was fine. We could talk inside and outside of the game and get in and go adventuring, so definitely worth doing. Dave Mack, obviously the PlayStation's got all that going, and I am going to Gran Turismo your face up. Yeah! It worked. I'm so happy. Thank you, Dave Mack. Okay, fade away. Yeah. That's the Twitch one. So Dave Mack has gone over to Twitch and subscribed so that we can all get that. Wonderful little notification. I've got a lot more to set up. There's a different one for YouTube as well. He did. Beam down on the Bifrost. With sounds and everything. Didn't oversell it. Wait until you see the other one. Now I'm overselling the other one instead, but... Fuck YouTube, nah, Davey. I obviously massively appreciate it. Wherever you are, whatever platform you're on, so thank you for that. Twitch is still dead. It's very hard to find any attention on Twitch, but over time it does happen, so I just need to keep showing up there, I think. Alex, that was when someone subscribes on Twitch. So on Twitch, that's equivalent of a membership. It's the paid tiers of it. And there's a different one when people go members on the YouTube. Wayne, good to see you. How you doing? Still on Starfield or some other space adventures? It was a good alert, wasn't it? I tried to use the alert through Stream Elements, which is a fairly commonly used overlay system. I made the video myself, so I did the A's that you all know from your badges that are really cool. Got her to give me a big one, and then I did the rest of it, the portal and the Bifrost and all of that stuff with the sounds. And it was too big and too fancy for most overlay platforms, so I got it all running locally. It was a pain in the ass to set up. My setup is so complicated. And I love it. Until something breaks, and then I'm just going to pull all my hair out because it'll be a disaster to try and fix. Yes, that's the link to... Oh, Isla, you're me again. That's illegal. But that's the link to my Twitch channel. So if anyone does use Twitch, you can wander over there and give it a little tickle as well, I guess. But let's get on with it. So other games. I know, she does that. It's very painful. Oh, I don't know if it works for gifts. Oh, it does work for gifts. Thank you, Tom. It's come up with your name as the gifter. And Brian Scullier has taken it. But, you know, that's the membership one for YouTube. It's also very fancy. So thank you for triggering it and letting me know that it, broadly speaking, does work. Gifts are a little bit confusing relative to the other kind of memberships. But how cool are they, right? I've got so much to do to set up other kinds of events and tiers, and it's like it's an almost Doctor Strange portal. And Matilda, we've got somebody speaking on Twitch. That's very rare. Hi, pleased to meet you. What have you been playing? We're going to move on our conversation broadly to the topics of the show, which were like the year in review for various platforms. Which one should we start with? We're going to start with Nintendo because I don't know anything about them. I'm going to rely on all of you while you're here. Yes, Brian, enjoy your badge. It is very fancy. And you get the Discord access. If you are going to jump onto Discord, please associate your YouTube account to your Discord account and it'll all take care of everything for me. It's very nice. Dave Mack. Oh, I see the badge when you do it on Twitch as well. That's cool. You've been playing Avatar. I played a bit of Avatar. I'm probably 6 hours or so into it. I like it when it gets to the fighting. I don't like it when it gets to the navigating. Try and find where the hell I'm going. But you enjoying it, I'm assuming? And Sea of Solitude was okay before you tried. The voice acting was weak. That's good. That's an indie problem, isn't it? Voice acting can get very expensive if you want it to be as good as the likes of Diablo. Did Nintendo release anything this year? Nintendo released loads this year, Patrick. There was some Mario, and then there was some more Mario. And then there was some more Mario. There was Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Wonder, Mario RPG maybe, like the remake of it. What else did Nintendo have? ACG was saying that they had a hell of a year, but I can't think of their games. They probably had some Pokemon things. Did they have some Pokemon things? No, Matilda, I've not got to the Flying Mount yet, which might make a big difference to my ability to find where the hell I'm going. So it's a very, very pretty game. I know that much. Metroid Prime remake. Oh yeah, they had the yes, the Metroid Prime remake. Metroid is of the big Nintendo IP. I don't care about Mario. I'm gently interested in the Zelda games, but not very. But Metroid is cool. I want to play more Metro stuff and understand more about that. And I like Splatoon as a concept as well, or as an aesthetic. But So let's hope there's a Switch 2 next year, eh? Alex, where is episode 13? I don't know. Episode 13 has a child that didn't sleep all night, so probably doing busy things. I'm sure he'll turn up at some point. As will Connor, who wants to know about the broken nose. FTW, do I go FTW or for the win? I'm going for the win. You can't focus on anything other than finding out what this background is. I'm really surprised that no one immediately told me what the background is. Oh. Coffee. I will play Zelda. I will play Zelda. I'm still waiting for Nintendo to discount Breath of the Wild. Because really I should start there, shouldn't I? Don't you worry your pretty little face, Dave Mac. I'm going to play Gran Turismo with you. And one of these days I'm going to play Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And Mario Wonder. And Smash Brothers. I'm going to play loads of stuff. Nintendo just needs to... I just shift a little bit in my favour. Because the negotiations aren't going well. Connor, I did miss it. But that was in your best interest. Because no, it's not Dishonored. Dave Mac, they will never bring the price down. I know, I've had the standoff. Breath of the Wild was years ago. It was like at the launch of the Switch. And I'm still having my standoff with them. It's funny because when Breath of the Wild came out, it quite notoriously came out in the same month as Horizon Zero Dawn. Because everyone knows that Breath of the Wild really overshadowed Horizon in their launch window. And it's like a couple of years later, you could get Horizon for like with all of its content, all of the DLC, the Frozen Wilds expansion for something like £7, or you could get Breath of the Wild with its complete edition for like £90. It hadn't changed at all, and the contrast between them was just like, oh, it's brutal. It's not for the win. Oh, okay. I'm not going to say that because I want to remain. I'm trying to like break the habit of excessive swearing. I'm not like I can swear a bit, but you know. Trying to keep YouTube on my side for a little bit so that I can be rich and famous. Hey Citizen, you're starting to feel that way about Sony. What, the pricing thing? They bring their prices down. They've got like a fairly well established pattern of sales. Their PC games haven't gone low enough for my taste yet. They could be they could cut deeper on the PC side. Dave Mac, you could have sent... But you gave it to your nephews. Wait a minute. Oh, you could have sent Breath of the Wild. Yeah. My issue with it is more likely than not, I'll end up playing it on the PC. So I just want to buy it as a like ethical goodwill gesture to say I have paid for it. So me playing on the PC is not scummy. Yeah. Because I think Isla's offered it to me before as well. She's got at least one copy. But there is a lot of other stuff to play in Breath of the Wild. I don't look at it wishing that it was something that I played immediately. So I've got time. FTW, you're thinking it's a game that you didn't play? That I obviously did. I'm definitely thinking it's a game that you didn't play, or you definitely would have got it by now. It's not Immortals of Avium, but I like the line of thinking. Playing on PC isn't as scummy as Nintendo charging full price almost 7 years after. Well, yes and no, Patrick, because it kind of is, right? Nintendo have made their stance, and my reasonable protest to their decision is what I'm doing, is to not play it. To say, no, you've not met the value proposition that I'm after right now, so I'm not going to play your game. That's my protest. Not I'm going to steal it. So... willpower, I can do it. I'm going to win. I beat Stadia. I had a face-off with Google on who would leave Stadia first, and they left before I did. So I can beat Nintendo and Breath of the Wild. Painful discourse. There's a boss that's shit somewhere. Missed something. Anyway, topic. So nobody knows about Nintendo, do they? Nobody's particularly played... Has anyone played a Nintendo game this year that's here right now? Because they have had games, there's no doubt about it. You've played some, Isla. I know like Minecraft doesn't count. Because that wasn't this year. Sony sucks ass. Had to pay $70 last night for a game that's been out for 2 years. What? Oh, Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo's definitely been heavily discounted at times, though. You got mugged off, son. Matt, you played a bit of Mario Wonder. There you go. There you go. It has to be like the most Xbox person in the room comes forwards to say that they've played some. Replicant, you've done Metroid Prime Remake and Zelda. Replicant, am I missing out? Do I really need to play some Tears of the Kingdom? I loads of you have played Tears of the Kingdom. Baz, there's a dodgy card. What's coming out next month? A dodgy card. Dodgy card. Dodgy card, what's coming out on Nintendo? Speaking like all low and dodgy. Yeah, I might get it. You didn't finish it, so it sucks. Okay, cool. Oh, Wiley, you got Sea of Stars on Switch despite episode 13. I remember. That was good. And then you got stuck an hour in. Have you gone back to it? For the win, it is... Sorry, I called you for the win. FTW. I just go with Tony. Tony, it's not a VR game. Read your other. You got Sea of Stars. I can't scroll past. I'm not on top chat. I'm on everything. Everything, everywhere. In a different kind of window. Oh, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And FTW played Mario. Mario Wonder, I'm assuming. Tony is a game. Tony. Don't know about that. Don't know about that. FTW, I can't give you a hint because it genuinely is an easy background for a lot of people. Obviously, it's the same with any question. If you know the answer, then the question is easy. If you've got no idea what it is, then you've got no idea what it is. But if you have played this game, and a lot of people have, you would absolutely recognize it. So I can't give it away yet. We play him daily, not like we play episode 13. Poor guy. Brian, Wonder didn't do a lot for you. It's a bit meh and it's easy. I heard that it starts easy and it's easy for quite a long time, but then it really ramps up to be actually very difficult by the end. I can handle a 2D Mario more so than a 3D Mario though, so I'll get there eventually. Painful Discourse is not Tony Hawk. SCW, I'm sorry that it's bothering you, but it won't take long. Episode 13 has been summoned. Ah, Mav says it's familiar, but he can't place it. The orbs are the clue. The orbs give it away if the location doesn't. Yes, episode 13. I can't speak for everyone in the room. I can tell you that I'm doing just fantastically well. Because we've got these fancy new alerts. In fact, episode 13, today's the day. You take that $2.99 membership tier and you'll see it. And you'll go, wow, that was worth it. That was worth it. And you get the founding badger status that you've been craving so badly. What else should we do? So Nintendo, we've covered that, right? So did Nintendo have a good year or a bad year? Or somewhere in between? To be fair, with the age of the Switch and its position in the market, the fact that it still sells at all is remarkable. The fact that they're still pumping out games for it and turning my head is remarkable. You'd have to say that this year, scoring system, I wasn't going to go for that episode 13. I wasn't going to rate them on a scale out of 10, but I'd say for the position that they're in with their hardware, they probably had a really good year, and their position with their hardware could have changed. All of the rumors that came out about other models and things towards the end of last year weren't for nothing. Nintendo pivoted on the fly and made do with the Twitch for freaking ages. It's cold in the Twitch chat. It's going to be like that, Dave Mack. Isla's over there, probably. I can see the Twitch chat. Matilda was there for a little bit, and there's been a couple of people sneakily drop in and out, but it's going to take some doing to get that one built up. Get people talking over there as well. Unfortunately, so Twitch quite recently relaxed the rules on being allowed to multi-stream. So you are allowed to multi-stream now, like I am. I'm allowed to be on both platforms. They used to forbid that. But they still forbid merging the chats. So I can merge the chats and I can read both of them. But I can't bring the YouTube and Twitch chats together in a way that will be helpful for the people that are on either platform to be able to make the conversation more free-flowing between them. For some reason, Twitch don't want to do that. Why am I not topless? People like joke about that, but I'm going to show you Twitch right now. I'm going to show you Twitch. I've not got it open yet, so I don't know what I'm going to see, but I do know what I'm going to see. I never watch Twitch. This is the channels that are recommended on Twitch. That's not much of a Santa outfit. Lots of talking stuff. This is actually not as bad as it was when I looked yesterday. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I have too many clothes on for Twitch. You are not wrong. And yeah, I'm gonna maintain my dignity and keep going like we are. You've had a bad few days. Yeah, I know you have. Show us your art. Artistic nudity. Anyway, that's my history. That's not my history, Dave Mac. And it's not even tuned or tailored to me. That is just Twitch. You can go in on a private browser and you'll see the worst of it. And that's the meta on Twitch right now, apparently. Xbox has had a strong year. We're not doing episode 13. Calm yourself. We're doing Xbox last. We're talking Nintendo at the moment. And Nintendo had a good year. Next year is going to be more drastic for Nintendo with the Switch 2 coming around. Then it'll be, oh yeah, I can't even hear the OST. Let me fix that because I want to hear the OST. Monitor off? That's not right. There we go. Yes, Connor, it is from a Mario game. Pelican, need to get that 4090 on your PC specs. Pelican, who are you? You know I've got a 4090, so I must know who you are. And you're right. I've probably got a lot of updating to do on the PC specs over on the Twitch side of it. Jordan, you just joined, so you're playing catch up. We've not got far. We've talked about our games and we're talking about Nintendo. It's not Mario Sunshine. I see you, Replicant. So you love it over on Twitch as well. Space Denison, you're working on getting a 4090 yourself. I'm optimistic that they've still got a while before the 50 series comes out. There's been talk that it might not even be next year, so. And yeah, if you want to get those Unreal Engine high-end games going in VR, then you're going to need a bit of grunt. And apparently you can't receive gifts if your account is listed as a brand account. Yeah, that's true. Episode 13 won't be a brand account though. This channel is a brand account. My uncensored account is my main one. All you know is it's one of the Marios. Yes, it is. It's the background the Series S is for. There's nothing wrong with the background, Dave Mac. You're trying to think of games with blue and gold orbs now. It's more blue and orange, more so than blue and gold, I would say. It's not DMC. Yes, Patrick, there is a Game on Asa uncensored channel with no content on it. In case I ever need it, in case we ever need to go uncensored. And it's in case I ever need to move like the live streams and things away from the videos and stuff, which I don't think is necessary with the way, like the direction that I'm taking the channel at the moment. I think I can keep things as they are and just roll with it because my ambitions are weird. I don't need 1 billion subscribers. I like the community focus of the channel as it is right now. So, Dr. Scottsy, blue and orange, Portal 3. It's not Portal 3. Jordan, no one has guessed the background. It's not Luigi's Mansion. Tom, you want the uncensored one? Well, it's not Lies of P. Okay, I'm really surprised. And you're all going to be so disappointed when you do realise what it is. Luigi's Mansion's a fair guess. It's a mansion. I've never played Luigi's Mansion. I assume it looks a bit like this, but with ghosts. It's not Redfall. Not any of the Assetto courses. You can't hear it. No, they're guessing. Well, actually both, I suppose. Is it just my house? No, I've got a tiny house. Game on Tonio. Wait a minute. That's the usual song. I'm distracted by the breast. Yes, Tony. It's not Atomic Heart. Jordan is so annoyed now. Why are you annoyed, Jordan? That opening reminds you of a stage you believe, but it's missing a train car. So, that's Nintendo. Let's move on to the next one. You can keep guessing on the background and the OST. No one's got either entirely, by the way. Connor's narrowed down the OST to a Mario game, and he's absolutely right. I've not seen anyone get the background, and it still really surprises me, so maybe I just scrolled past the correct answer somewhere. Let's talk about... We're going to do PlayStation and Xbox last, because that's the ones that you want, and I'm keeping you like hooked and baited, so you can't leave the show. Not Paper Mario. Episode 13, I've not seen your guesses. I mean, I have, but I haven't. It's not Dishonored. You're not the first person to guess Dishonored. And it's not Thief. Not Atomic Heart. It's not Goat Simulator. It's not Redfall. Not Liza P. Not the finals. The music isn't Super Mario World. And it's not Mario Sunshine. It's a Mario game. And it wouldn't surprise me if it's taken cues from other Mario games in the music. It's not Mario Maker. Oh, I didn't realise it was going to be so challenging. Cocoon, it's not Cocoon. I've not played that yet. I need to play Cocoon. Mario 64, hell no. Not Mario 64. Let's talk about mobile phone games. This is going to be really brief. We're going to just like gloss over this one. Does anyone know anything about mobile phone games? Has anyone played a mobile phone game this year? It's not a Resident Evil game. I never play mobile games, but it is big business and there is every chance that some of you do, right? You go out into the world with Tony. I know F mobile games, but they've had Final Fantasy. They've had the Marvel Snap thing. That might have been last year. They've had Monster Hunter Go. It's not Galaxy or Odyssey. Clash of Empires. Are you saying that because you've played it or just because you've heard of it? There was the Doom game came out. That might have been during the last year. Vampire Survivors is on there. Marvel Contest of Champions and Transformers Earth Wars. Contest of Champions, is that the one that went away that they're closing, or is that still going? I've seen people say that the Monster Hunter Go thing, whatever it's called, was fairly entertaining, but then when I saw clips of it, it looked terrible. Hello! How cool is that? Thank you, Replicant. You've even changed your name to be one that I'll recognise just before doing the... That's cool. Yeah, exactly. Still going on for Marvel's Conquest of Champions. That scared you? It was supposed to. It was awesome, right? Why does the background remind you of Stalker with the anomalies? Because Stalker has anomalies that look a little bit like that, but Stalker is not the answer. Your oldest lad is still playing Marvel Snap. Loads of people love it. Yeah, it did like really well for itself when it came out. Don't hear much about it at the moment, but... Pelican was Replicant. And yes, I did say hello. But he must have changed the name. A unicorn vomited. Yes, that is the Bifrost, kind of. Bing is no help. My goodness, don't worry. If no one can get it, I will tell you the background before the end of the show. Ah, you had to work out which Twitch account was linked to your Prime. That's a good point, by the way. If anyone does have Amazon Prime and you don't use Twitch in general, please do log on to the Twitch channel and just redeem your Amazon Prime subscription, because that's like... You're already paying. You might as well redeem it, and then I'll get subscribers and the whole Bifrost thing will go again. That would be neat. You're going to get Horizon Call of the Mountain VR, but $60. F that. So Horizon Call of the Mountain is an interesting tech demo for VR if you've never played VR before, but it's not brilliant as a standalone. You did the Prime sub tonight for me, did you? Thank you. That's awesome. I didn't see the cool Bifrost for you, but Solitaire, it's not Final Fantasy 16. That's on my list to play very soon. Okay, so no one's got anything for mobile games this year, which means we're going to rate it doing just fine for itself because it's still making billions of money. That's what you did as well, Dave, mate. You primed it up. That's cool, mate. It's all the same to me. So I appreciate it very much. Call of the Mountain, not worth $60. No, it's like a tech demo, isn't it? And it is impressive. It's vibrant and bright and impressive, but it is 7 or 8 hours at most, and it doesn't give you freedom in the combat. So I like it. And in fact, I have to walk that back, actually. I said it's not worth 60. There is always this really awkward perception of value issue that I talked about with ACG yesterday. Either you did, I just didn't read. What did you do? What did you do? I'm reading everything. You beat it in 4 hours. Okay, maybe it's only 4 hours. No, it took me longer than 4 hours, I think. And yeah, like, I can understand why someone wouldn't want to drop 60 on it. Fadgers get prone up. Yeah, it's an easy way into the little Fadgers thing. Connor, what was your guess? It's not Metro Exodus, no. Nice try, nice try. Don't cry. Is there a confetti drop for 1k subs? This is it. You're witnessing it. It's not Forspoken, no. It's definitely not like a real Horizon game, no. And that's an unfortunate thing working against it, Space Denizen, because people will see the Horizon name and probably expect like a similar breadth of content, and you're just not going to get that in a game that 40,000 people are going to buy. So, games with orbs. It's not Super Mario Odyssey. You guys all suck at guessing today, apart from Connor, who narrowed it down to Mario. Replicant, you think PSVR 2 looks cool, but not 570 quid cool. If you've got a Quest with a PC, then PSVR 2 isn't as good as that. But it is real VR. So if you are a console player, it is legitimately like virtual reality as it should exist today, just with a wire. It very much needs Sony to come out and say that they're making games for it to even remotely justify it. Like, it's a lot of money to put down on it when Sony won't tell you that they're going to release any games. Some sort of graphic. It's not Elden Ring. The background really isn't hard. It's not Assassin's Creed Valhalla. The knights in the background are throwing you off. If you played through it, you'd be like, oh yeah, I remember those knights in the background. Final Fantasy Stranger Danger game. That's on PlayStation Plus this month or last month. I've downloaded that. Or no, I tried to download it, but it's like 113 gigabytes and I haven't got space. It's not from the Mario movie. Only thing you'd fancy is GT7 on it. You can play GT7 for 1,000,000 hours. It is very good. But I'm still hoping that eventually that goes PC and PC VR. That would be a treat. It does have Resident Evil 4, it does have Resident Evil 8. It's like, it has got some good stuff on it. It just has no promise of the future at the moment. Dave, mate, you nearly killed yourself with all them wires playing GT7. I mean, that GT7 is a game where you sit down and face one direction, so imagine those wires when you're running around trying to like strafe circles around a zombie. Then it's harder. How's it going, Joe? I know what you've been playing. You played Forza with us. What else have you been playing? Patrick, you barely remember the games that you play. It's very difficult. I struggle with the passage of time. I know the difference between past, present, and future, but that's my limit. I can't like distinguish how far in the past a certain thing is. Everything was yesterday. If it's already happened, it was yesterday, even if it was 20 years ago. Which makes talking about the year gone by quite difficult because it's really hard to place what was in the year and what was outside of it. Wayne, the background is not Hogwarts Legacy. Isla, you guessed RPG and I blanked you. Oh, it's not Mario RPG, nope. I'd be surprised if no one said the name. I must have missed someone saying the OST. Because there aren't that many Mario games, you can't have missed it. Joe, you're going to play Switchback next VR-wise, it's not very good. I played it before they fixed certain issues with it, but overall, underwhelming, that one. Isla, you're going to scrum it. Okay. I want to play Robocop. Super Mario RPG? No. It is a Mario game. It is not Mario Sunshine. It's not RPG, not 64, not any of the movies. Not Galaxy, not Odyssey, not Paper Mario, not RPG. You're right, there's not that many Mario games. Not World, not Paper Mario, not 3D World, not 1 or 2. You can do it. Not Mario Kart, not Smash. Joe, you like a sit-down VR? It is that. It is a sit-down VR. It's... I don't know. I just thought it would have been better than it was. It had some technical issues when I played it, particularly with sounds coming in the wrong direction, which ruined a lot of it. No, not Mario Penis. Tennis, not Mario Tennis. Keep going with names. Not Mario Party. Oh, damn. Like, I'm kicking myself on all of your behalfs. I've not played... So, Replicant, I've got Replicant 2 on Steam. It's supposed to be really top quality VR. I have not played it. I have the first one, Vertigo Remastered, to get through first. I don't think you need to do them in that order, but I'm planning to anyway. John Wolf, Happy New Year to you as well. Thank you, thank you. Nice Base Denizen, I didn't say that. Nobody said that. Is the finals free? Yeah, the finals is free. And the cosmetics and stuff you can buy are expensive, but also not appealing in the slightest, so you can just play it for free. Blow some stuff up, and then decide whether you want to play it more or not. Dr. Mario World. No. Please, people. Please. You must be able to get... It's not Mario Odyssey. It's not Mario Maker. Alex, GeForce Now is not adding any big titles. It's been a month now. Because of the popularity, they don't need any more server loading. I've not actually seen what they've released over the course of the last month. They do Thursdays, don't they? It's the GeForce Now release thing. I would have thought they'd still want to get as much as they can on there, though. I don't think it hurts the server load to have more games available, really. Thank you, Jordan. Damn, that took so long. Yes, the OST is from Mario Wonder, the one that just came out like a month ago, that we were just talking about earlier today. That got like 96% on Metacritic and all the rest of it. Everyone's most beloved Mario game. Isla, you didn't. We talked about Wonder earlier, but I did not see anyone say that it was the OST. It's quite possible that you did. But you definitely went round and round the other Mario games a lot. So all points to Jordan. If you can prove that somebody else guessed it first, then you've wasted your time, because I don't care. Ha 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 ha. Your internet went buffering. Did anyone guess the background? Everything still seems to be streaming smoothly. That's good. Nobody has got the background yet. They all got caught up by the OST. Jordan, I don't play Mario games either. Like, really, so... And I don't know why I selected to have this one as the OST today. It doesn't go with the background particularly. It just seemed like a good idea. Oh yeah, Robo Recall's the one to start with. Nobody gets sick on Robo Recall. But there are... Oh, I see, you've got PSVR 2, but you've got no VR legs. And no, in that case, John Wolf, I can absolutely tell you how to get used to it. Travel sickness tablets. Which sounds like cheating, but they're just antihistamines. They're the most gentle nonsense drug in the world, and they will just let you play VR for as long as you want without feeling sick. So get some Quells or equivalent travel sickness tablets, have one of them 20 minutes before you play, and you'll go, wow, I can play VR now. And you do that for a little while, and then sometime you forget to take one and go, oh, I don't actually feel that sick, it's worked. Travel sickness tablets are the immediate shortcut to being able to play VR. And I got very sick. I used them heavily to get through it. And I turned out all right. No harm done. I didn't play the first one. I didn't play Rush of Blood because I didn't have a PSVR 1 because I knew it was a vomit box for me. As you've nearly completed Mario Wonder. Nintendo is for kids. The Nintendo has lots of games that I want to play though, when they let me have them on some good hardware for some good prices, you know. Alex, if you were to pay me to play one game, it would definitely be the Robocop game. You don't need to pay me to play Robocop. I want to play Robocop. You'd need to pay me to play like a stealth game or something. Robocop, I just need to own it and then I'll play it. Replicant, you are lucky to get no VR sickness at all. Yeah, dude, honestly, like, makes such a difference. Because I'm the same. I really struggled with the sickness. But I liked VR enough that I wanted to find a way through it. And I did lots. I did, like, having a fan on you is a big help. Ginger is naturally supposed to help a bit. Fan was a big one. But travel sickness tablets was like, oh, shortcut to the end game. No clue what the background is. I'm pretty sure you played it, Replicant. You played everything. You must have played it. Chronic, 1 hour and 40 minutes worth of Asgard Wrath 2, and you were feeling fine, and the missus cooked tea, and the smell messed you up, and the nausea kicked in straight away. Wow, that's interesting. I've never heard of the smells doing it. Maybe the tea was poisoned. Maybe it was a warning. Alex, I don't have Robocop or any money. I will play Robocop. When I have it, I will stream it, but it's just going to take a little bit. Do I record these backgrounds myself? Yes, Connor. I record the backgrounds myself. I do. Climbing down the ladder in mist was a bit weird. Yeah. I can see that. Replicant, you took your Quest 3 to your mum's over Christmas and she loved it. Of course, everyone loves it. It's, like, with the lenses that it's got now, the ease of just putting it on and being able to see clearly is, like, it's there and on point. People can just stick it on and go, oh, this is impressive. Even though, like, to capture it and show it on a screen is underwhelming. Just stick it on your face is like, oh, we're there. It's brilliant. You've heard that Robocop is great. It looks fun, and yeah, obviously Space Denizen is going to be more fun in VR as everything is. Background is not Forspoken. Okay, we're done. What did we do? Nintendo, we got through without showing a single trailer. I should show some trailers. We've done Nintendo. Yeah, so let's talk about VR next before we do Xbox and PlayStation. No, it's not Immortals of Avium. This is really winding you up, isn't it? I bet someone has said the background as well and I just missed it. So we're doing VR now, and to begin with, so on VR I am going to bring up a trailer. Oh, you want me to start narrowing it down? Honkai Star Rail. Yeah, we could have talked about that on the mobile section, couldn't we? But we didn't. You want me to start narrowing it down, though? If I narrow it down, you'll immediately get it. So I'm going to refrain for the moment. What is that sparkly ball thing? I do wonder what the sparkly ball thing is. There's two of them. An orange one and a blue one. Thank you, Replicant. Replicant has saved the day. See, if you play as Miles Morales, you leave these little power orbs. They give you health and shit if you pick them up. So, yeah, it's Spider-Man 2. Why is Lies of P going up so often? You don't have that game, no. Well, I wasn't saying everybody's got the game and is definitely going to get it. It became fairly apparent that most of you haven't played it. It is Spider-Man 2. All of those knight armor pieces in the background are all ray trace reflecting everything. You can actually, if you look really closely and zoom in, you can see yourself looking back. You don't play PlayStation, how are you ever going to get... So why are you calling it Spider-Mid, you fraud? You want a recount? It's Spider-Man 2. I've had quite a lot as well. Spider-Man 2 backgrounds. It happens to have quite a convenient photo mode to let me capture my own backgrounds in the way that Connor was asking. I can capture my own backgrounds quite easily in Spider-Man 2, so there's like a good array of them. But the table's not from Spider-Man 2. FTW, I'm not kidding, it's Spider-Man 2. It's your duty as an Xbox player to attack everything and worship Phil. Gonna have to work on that Jordan. Same as we do with episode 13. Chip away at that loyalty until it breaks. No, you can't see an Asa face. You'll see your own face, Tom. If you zoom right in. FTW, you platinumed it. You platinumed it and you didn't recognize the orbs. Oh, man. You can call it Spider-Mid, that's fine. Obviously, you can watch my review on the channel and see what I think of it as well. It's got some good things about it. And it's got some less good things about it. What was I bringing up? We're talking about VR, so Asgard's Wrath makes sense, doesn't it? Has VR had a good year? Alex, would I buy the PS5 Pro if it would improve the PSVR 2 somehow? It probably will improve the PSVR 2 somehow, in that a fair few games on PSVR 2 use reprojection and stuff that it would smooth out. And yes, I would buy it for that purpose. I don't. Obviously, Sony needs to release some games to make that worthwhile, but when are we getting the famous story? You might not be here for it. You get it soon. Get it soon. Let's have the gameplay reveal trailer for Asgard's Wrath while we talk about it. No, not with sound. Shut up. Sorry. Chaos is spreading, apparently. I forgot that I'd put that little slider up. Whatever. You put way too much effort in for that. Yeah, FTW, that was inevitable. No one was going to be happy with the answer after all that guessing. Dance for me, monkey. That's not how it works. And I'm really, like, I haven't set up a fancy alert for Super Chats yet. Poor, this time next week, though, some fancy stuff would happen when you did that. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. Dancing is not my forte. You have to think of something else. It's not the OnlyFans page. This looks like Prince of Persia VR. Asgard's Wrath. Massive RPG. Which I've not put time into yet. It reviewed really well in some quarters, but mostly in from people that don't do a lot of VRing. So it's impressing the right people in that sense, I guess. And I think I'll probably enjoy it a lot. But I also, when I did play it, couldn't unsee Asgard's Wrath 1. It's a weird scenario to play a big flagship game that doesn't look anywhere near as good as its prequel. So it's a weird one. In terms of reviewing it, it's a question on whether it should be penalized for that, because it's really, really, really impressive for the hardware that it's running on. So I guess it's fair that it reviews really highly, because Nintendo games do. And that's the same, right? Nintendo games look shite compared to their contemporaries. You compare Tears of the Kingdom to Horizon Forbidden West, and it's not close, and people still review Nintendo games highly, so it's fair enough to review Asgard's Wrath on those same terms, I suppose. Consistency, we all like a bit of that. Tony, you're going to be using teleporting. Tony, do you get sick when you move around? I didn't think you do. I know you were teleporting when we played Dungeons of Eternity. And the various other things that you tried to do in that game. Your cup of tea is lovely. Your wife made it an hour ago. Cooled down in an hour? It's cooled down enough. I mean, that's room temperature, surely. Even at 500 milliliters. Could you sing the ABCs backwards for $5? No, Patrick, I couldn't. You can give me the $5 anyway. I'm all about grabbing the money now, you know. Dad, you chatted to me on ACG show, but didn't tag as you're on mobile. Yeah, I read some things, but not all. I'm doing good though. And thanks for, you know, saying nice things when I was on ACG show. It was generally, like, nobody was horrible there, so I had a good time on that one. I think it went well. Should be called Olympus Wrath. Connor, I'll tell you after I've played more of it and I've seen the realms that you go to. But you're right, it definitely has. Has a lot of the Egypt going on in those trailers. Nintendo has not announced an original idea since the Wii. Well, Tony. Well, good for them. Nintendo are 20 years behind the times anyway, so they don't need originality. They just need to resist the temptations of the games as a service and be the last last island for people that like normal games. I expect at some point in the future I'll be like, the industry's gone to shit, I'm just playing Switch games now. You're proud of me? That's sweet. Why are you proud of me? What did I do? Room temperature tea. Delicious. FCW, always play VR seated and don't get motion sick that way. Do you get more motion sick if you're standing up? I get that if you are standing up and you feel a loss of balance, then it's more of an issue. But I would get sick sitting down and not standing up. My biggest weaknesses in VR are stick turning and strafing. I have to stand up and physically turn around. It was Tom that you tagged in the chat. Oh, you were proud of Tom. That's fine too. Replicants coming back. Wait. Mind my own business, me. Oh, proud of me for hitting the 1k. It's like the slowest, worst grind to 1k that anyone's ever had on the whole of YouTube. Statistically, it told me. I've like got rid of a lot of content from it, but it took me something like 500 videos or content pieces to get there. Which is the worst ratio of subscriber gaining that anyone's ever had on YouTube. But I'm there, I got the 1000, so I'm proud of me too. Thanks, Dodge. I would have stopped ages ago if it weren't for all of you lot coming along and making like this stuff fun, which is cool. CW, you've gotten sick standing because you don't like the teleport stuff, but when you're seated, you never get sick. I don't like the teleport either. I much prefer moving. Well, I've got my treadmill, haven't I? So I try and run around rather than stick move anywhere, but that is very niche. Patrick, the next Mario Party will be a gas game. Mario Kart kind of is already. Mario Kart, yeah. They have been releasing little content packs and things, haven't they? I see you there, Pete, sneaking around on Twitch. I haven't seen you say anything for a little while, Pete. Hope you're doing good, having a nice time over there. You like stick moving. Yeah, but you don't get sick at all, do you, Isla? You can like lie on your bed, look at the ceiling and stick turn around. So that's good for you. So virtual reality, year gone by, has been, I mean, they've had one. Much as everyone's still quietly down on VR, it's also doing pretty well for itself over Christmas. And more importantly for me, had a weird resurgence of real content appearing. VR has had so little actual content over the last, like, since Half-Life Alyx pretty much. Games have been so few and far between, and when they have appeared, they've usually been like really small in scale. Like Vertigo 2 is supposed to be really good, but it's made by one person. Saints and Sinners 2 was something of a highlight, but again, it's a small team and it didn't really build on the first game. Everything in the VR space has been shrinking. And obviously the PlayStation VR 2 came out, and Gran Turismo is very good. And then it kind of went into stasis for a bit in terms of big releases. There's some things there, like Capcom are carrying things. There's some things there. But November, December, Asgard's Wrath 2, Assassin's Creed Nexus, what were the other ones? Arizona Sunshine that I've been playing. Suddenly there's just like, oh, there's games to play. And obviously the Quest 3 has come out, and a bunch of you that are here right now have got the Quest 3. Wait a minute, Dave, you didn't think GT7 in VR would bother you, but when you start a race with the wheel, it's a strange feeling, is it? Is it a strange feeling? Don't push through it, Dave. If you start to feel off, then you can make it a lot worse by pushing through. Just have a break. Adriano Italiano, you got a Quest 3. What are some VR YouTube channels that I recommend? So the VR YouTube scene is really difficult because 98% of the people in that space are sponsored by Meta. So if you have a stomach for sponsored content and you don't really care if the people that you're listening to are telling the truth or not, then you're fine. The good ones though, there's a channel called Thrill Seeker. I don't think he's sponsored, and he has a lot of speculative content. There's sadly, it's Bradley. He's more of a Valve guy, but leaks lots of, or data mines all of the upcoming VR hardware and stuff, and it's quite interesting. There's a fella called ZimTalk VR who has the highest quality Quest streaming that I've seen. J-Bar, VR. I can't remember the spelling of it. I'll try and link these to you at some point. It'll help you a bit more. There's a guy like me with a treadmill that's worth looking at as well. And MRTV, Sebastian Ong. MRTV is a good one for general VR content. Space Denizen, despite many disappointments, it's been the VR year for you. More than a few greats on each platform. And on top of that, most long-awaited mod, Portal 2 VR. I've still not done Portal 2 VR. I should. It has been, like... There have been some disappointments, and it's a shame that there are still such lingering questions over what's coming next year for VR and such, which it really holds it back because you're at that stage now where you can say there's content, there's content, there's content. But as a value proposition, you need to be able to say there's content coming as well. It's not just what's already there. There's content in the pipeline, there's content coming, and it's still, I can't promise anyone that there's content coming still. Which is like the biggest disappointment of VR. But as a year, in terms of a resurgence of actually getting content, damn, I hope it continues, because it's awesome to see games and things, and it's awesome to see so many people getting these Quest 3s and being happy with it. Like, there's so little feedback. People saying I got one and I'm really underwhelmed by it, or it's blurry, or I can't get it to work, and all that kind of stuff. Everyone's just getting them and going, oh yeah, this is cool. So it must be doing something right. Obviously not the Xbox crowd. They still hate everything like VR, but a lot of people seem to be getting in on it. A lot of people seem to be quietly playing it and enjoying it. So, and we've got Bulletstorm coming early next year. Behemoth's still in the works. Like, there are some things in the works, but Sony have been dead silent. The Insomniac leaks had nothing VR in them, so that was sad. And you know, I don't want to put too much on the work of a modder to saying like Praydog's going to rescue the pipeline of VR. So, but I'm very happy with it. Like, I'm so glad to be getting content around. PT, you've done it. Come on. Oh, is it not going to work? Is it not going to work? Pete's gifted a sub on YouTube, on Twitch, but I don't think Twitch gifts trigger the Bifrost. Ah, oh, my heart has sunk. Sorry, Pete. I want it to work, but it doesn't want to. I will sort out more of the alerts and stuff. They are fancy. Apple Vision is, again, I never mention it, Tony, because it doesn't register as a significant event. Who knows? Maybe I'll be proven wrong and people will find some unexpected use and it will play games after all, but with the Praydog mod, PC will have an explosion of VR content enough to last you forever. It potentially will, Space Denizen. I'm like hopeful that that'll be the feeling that I get from it as well. At the same time, it could be that a little bit too janky for most people in terms of setting it up and stuff like that. I'm hoping it's not. And either way, like, I can get through the jank. I'm also, like, personally really optimistic that I'll be able to treadmill the hell out of all of them. So long as Praydog's mod has like a mapping step in it so that you can use the VR controllers in those games to move around, which is something Luke Ross's mods don't have. But if Praydog's mod has that, then I can use my treadmill for everything. And games that have natural, like, analog movement just work with the treadmill. So I could have the best next year in VR. Replicant, you like VR, but there is some rubbish for it. There's definitely some rubbish for it. There's definitely a lack of budget. There's definitely a whole load of tiny teams making tiny experiences. But overall, there's like it's a nice experience. And Replicant, get me added on Meta immediately, and I will send you Walkabout Mini Golf, and we will play it. Do we watch the great? There's no great Asa. You can watch me playing Half-Life Alyx in VR. Yeah, I can do that. That's actually a really nicely streamable game as well. I hate this OST right now. Mario Wonder, you're upsetting me. Yeah. So Half-Life Alyx has a specifically designed spectator window that makes it very easy to capture and stream as well. So definitely you will see Half-Life Alyx in the very near future. In fact, I think it was on the list of thumbs I request from Isla. I need Half-Life Alyx still. Replicant, you don't have a clue about VR mods and all that stuff. Still not tried Team Beef. Yeah. There's a couple of steps you have to go through to get the Team Beef stuff going, but they're Quest native. There are some PC ones as well, but Quest native Quake 3, fantastic. And Doom and Quake 2 and all the rest of them. The PC modding scene is a different animal from there, but I'll help you through it because there is some cool stuff. Space Citizen, you do think it will be too complicated for a lot of people, but you think, yeah, you're going to benefit, I'm going to benefit. My streaming is going to benefit, the world is going to benefit, it's going to be brilliant. Just hope it comes soon. Tony, you're watching my stream next to each other. Wait a minute. That's a palm tree. And you watching stream next to each other. I don't understand the palm tree desert island thing. Cat Quest is free on the Epic Game Store. Is that a good game? People, it's overwhelmingly positive on Steam, I think. Patrick? I know it because I think the third Cat Quest game was in one of Sony's presentations and got royally laughed at. But the two previous games actually are really well rated on Steam, so yeah, pick it up. I've never played it, I don't know anything about it, except that it's well rated by users. Are there mods that turn pancake games into VR games? Are they complex to do? You haven't done much about it. So, no, not really, actually. It depends on the game. But stuff like the Resident Evil ones, I can't remember, but I know that I got through the process without hitting any stumbling blocks, just by following the instructions. So, I imagine most people will be able to get through them if they're determined enough. It's the Isla emoji. What do you mean you're watching the stream next to each other? Oh, you're not in VR together, are you? I want to be in VR. Mad jealousy rising. Have you got a shared, like, YouTube space? I've not played with the Meta Avatar Home, whatever they call it, Horizons thing at all. Epic Game Store pukes. Jordan, have you experience of the Epic Game Store? A lot of people dislike it. It's supposed to be quite resource heavy and nasty to navigate, but they do give away quite a lot of shit. Dave Mack, you would think the VR viewership would be booming on Twitch. Yes and no. VR is quite difficult to stream well, especially Quest native stuff. Quest native stuff is so difficult to stream well that I haven't streamed it yet. And my streaming setup is good. So it's also, but even if you do that, like if you can stream VR perfectly well, it's impossible to convey what it is as a flat screen thing. VR games are just hard to stream nicely. They're quite difficult to watch because like head movement doesn't convert nicely onto a screen. Patrick, you play Fortnite with your son sometimes, so you have to use the Epic Games launcher. Yeah, fair enough. Why have they not made Grounded VR? Oh, Dave Mac, you can play Grounded in VR. With a controller, like you still have to use a keyboard and mouse or an Xbox controller, but you can mod that into VR. Works very nicely. I'd much rather you had like VR controls as well. So I guess you will have when Prey Dogs thing comes out. For now, you have to use a Luke Ross mod, which is controller only. First stream of 2024. We can do it all in VR together, maybe. There are obviously, so people use VR chat for making rooms to stream from, but I don't know. I don't know. You all like my face too much. But when you're, I keep saying for the win, I'm sorry. FTW, you're guessing the VR mods are also on Nexus mods? No, not typically. A lot of GitHub. There's an account on Twitter called Flat to VR. If you look at that, you'll be able to find the Discord link. There's a big Discord server that I think, in fact, I've got Discord open. Let me see if I can find it. There's a Team Beef one. There's, oh, I can't see it right now, but there's a Flat to VR Discord server somewhere, and it has categorized all the different games that you can do, so you can find the instructions and the mods on there. Some are really easy, drag and drop file exactly, and some are a little bit more complicated. But yeah, the Resident Evil ones were simple and very, very good if you can stomach a bit of horror in VR. Chronic, even off the Xbox Store. What's off the Xbox Store? Space Denizen. Oh, Tony and Isla, I'm going to need you to tell me what this is that you're doing on the headset. Because if the avatar things on Quest are actually worthwhile, Mine can smile. So I want to get on it. That's the advantage of the Quest Pro. I can blink and smile and you can be like, wow, he's blinking and smiling. Flip the worm. Don't know what that means. Don't know what that means. Grounded VR. Oh, yeah. Okay, right. Yeah, you can mod the one that's on Game Pass as well. Like the PC version, not on the Xbox console, but you know. Right, so that's VR. VR as a year. Also homes. It hosted or held my biggest disappointment of the year as well. Two things were disappointing for me this year in particular. But the one that I would give any award to if I were to do a most disappointing release of 2023, that's Firewall Ultra for me. Firewall Ultra carried the weight of Sony's VR catalogue. The thing came out with Horizon and Gran Turismo and No Man's Sky and some good times. Then it had a dry pipeline, but it had all this focus on Firewall Ultra as a Sony published game that was supposed to carry that headset for a certain amount of time, and was supposed to be like the first Firewall was popular on the PSVR 1, and the second one was just supposed to have legs and last as a competitive game for a long time. And it was kind of terrible, which was a real shame. So that was one of my biggest disappointments of 2023. It also came out in very close proximity to Crossfire. Crossfire had less hopes put upon it because it's part of the Crossfire series and they never turn out good, but it trailered well. So these two games had some hopes. Firewall Ultra in particular had a lot of expectation and hope placed upon it, and it was bad. The tutorial has a big door panel button that you have to press to start the tutorial, and you go up to it and you press it and nothing happens. You're not supposed to press it. You're supposed to kind of look at it and hold L1 on the controller to interact. All of the aiming and everything was kind of, it felt like a controller based game. It was all grandfathered over from the first Firewall. And to top it off, the game didn't even work. So you'd go into multiplayer, sit in a lobby waiting for something to happen. There'd be a little clock on the counter that would count down to 0 and just stay on 0 for about 20 minutes. People dropping in and out while they tried to figure out how to get it to work. Then you'd go in there and the game, while it was functional, wasn't very good. That sucked, and it was the biggest disappointment of the year. We'll get to the other disappointment of the year in a bit, but that's one that I have to talk about. And this is me vaguely getting things back on track because I'm aware that I haven't spoken about the stuff we're supposed to be talking about for a little while. Joe, you love the PlayStation gives you a bollocking for having a power cut. I hate that. It's such an aggressive beeping. The Xbox has its own issue for me. I don't know if anybody else gets this, but my Xbox is connected to Wi-Fi. So if I have a power cut at home, the PlayStation responds by telling me off. It gets furious. It beeps really angry and it gives you that message saying, "You didn't shut down properly, dickhead." And you have to apologize to it and buy it some flowers. And then it'll just work normally after that. The Xbox just like gives you the cold shoulder. It pretends that everything's fine. It turns back on, like nothing's amiss, but it doesn't connect to the internet. So it's just like out of spite. So I'm working, but you're not having the internet. Everything's fine between us. We're on good terms. It's just no internet. And the Xbox won't let me have the internet back until I give it a hard reboot, as in like hold the button down for the 10 seconds and start it up again. So power cuts, consoles don't like them. And they both have their different ways of letting you know. PlayStation 5 still needs to copy games when patching. Yeah, I mean, if you saw my stream with Arizona Sunshine yesterday, you'll know that PC is not necessarily ideal for the way that it handles patching games either. As we all sat there waiting for the chart to climb up. You're going to bed? No worries, Dodge. Have a good one. Good sleep. And thank you again for support on ACG show and for the super chat today and support here, and you know, as you have been for the last many years. Oh Joe, I've not had to do the repair your drive thing with the PlayStation 5 yet, but I'm aware that it does that to some people. Database integrity or whatever it is. Dave, you can't threaten to run Tony over. What's he done? I mean, you can, I suppose. It's reasonable. You're not too likely to see him, I guess. Oh, I see. Revenge for Forza. No, it all makes sense now. It does all make sense now. Right, so that's VR. Onwards and upwards. Hopefully there will still be games in 2024. There will definitely, from the looks of things, be mods in 2024. The hardware that I've got is exceptionally fun anyway. Cool, everybody loves VR. Let's do the next thing, which is... what should we do first, Xbox or PlayStation? Does PC get its own mention? Is there anything going on in PC? Yeah, we'll do PC first. How's the year been in the world of PC gaming? Has anything happened? It's had, obviously, all of the games. It's not got Ghost of Tsushima. Like, it's not that close in terms of day and date for PlayStation stuff. And it's not officially got Nintendo stuff, but generally, PC's got it all, right? Apart from nice, affordable hardware and stuff. PC is the best platform 2023. If money is no object, for sure. Tony, what did you tell me to stream? I'll do it. I stream everything. It's fun. Oh, the Room VR. See, the Room VR is like properly old VR. It's been around forever. And it was one of the earlier escape rooms. So people liked it at the time. But I would say, Joe, if you want to try a stationary escape room VR experience, then you should play... what's the Live and Let Die Spy 3 one? That series of games. There's 3 of them and the third one came out recently. Someone in the VR realm, tell me what it's called. It's like Live and Let Die 3, something like that. It's not RoboCop. You can walk around in the Room VR. You can, Tony, if you've got the space for it. The Spy one, the Replicants bought the third one of. You only have PSVR 2. It might be on there, it might not. Stream RoboCop. I told you, Tony, I don't have it yet. I told Alex, I don't have it yet. If I get hold of RoboCop, I will stream it. But Tony, sorry, Joe, Tony says that the Room VR is fun. I'm not on Top Chat. I'm not on Top Chat. Isla, you got a bunch of Steam games? What do you mean you got a bunch of Steam games? You mean throughout the course of the year because I started talking about PC, or do you mean in the current sale right now? Don't stream RoboCop. Oh, Patrick, you're tearing at me. Now I'm torn. Patrick says don't stream it. Tony and Alex say do stream it. Ooh, what to do? Well, fortunately, the decision is taken out of my hands because I don't have it. You got the Yogscast charity bundle. Any games that you particularly want from that bundle, or you just wanted to support the charity side of it? Did you get RoboCop in the bundle? Oh, you got... yeah, that's the game. I Expect You to Die, 1, 2, and 3. Thank you, Twitch Isla. Patrick likes the music from RoboCop. Some cute things and some VR. I'm curious what your Surface can do in terms of VR connectivity. It'd be cool if it can, if you can get your Phasmophobia going. I'm not sure if it will have the grunt to do it, but... Stream Gran Turismo 7 VR. Dave Mack, I don't have cameras in place near my racing seat. The PlayStation VR is actually very nice for streaming in terms of the spectator window is like quite good quality. But I don't have a camera near the racing seat. Why are you angry? Don't be angry. You had to write it there because I can't see it when you type on YouTube. I see everything. Don't be angry. I should stream Stardew. No. Come on, Joe. And the Silent Wife. Like, I know that Stardew is supposed to be a good game, but it's a farming game. I've not got time for farming. You need all of the time for that. Is it actually entertaining? Do you think that Stardew Valley is an entertaining stream game, or are you taking the piss? I can't tell. Because I've never played it and I don't understand it. Patrick, House Flipper 2 VR is the game to stream. If that's not a thing, is it? Yeah. Epic won't let you get Cat Quest for some reason. Won't let you get the free game. What have you done? Are you like on Epic's naughty list? You can go to mines and fight slimes. I can do that in real life though. You're not taking the piss. It's a great game. I know it's supposed to be a great game. but it's not necessarily like something being good doesn't necessarily mean that it will be entertaining to stream. So maybe it is. Maybe Stardew Valley is entertaining on all fronts. Get them, Dave Mac. I have so many cameras. I'm the most camera shy person in the world, but I've got a camera there, and I've got 3 cameras up there, all pointing at my treadmill. Yesterday, I spent half the day trying to repurpose a PlayStation 5 iToy, the PlayStation 5 camera, to work on my PC with some hacked drivers, so that I could use that for my third system when I'm doing the VR stuff. I have a lot of cameras plugged into a lot of devices. And yet, despite that, what you're saying isn't entirely unreasonable. It might be possible to move some kind of camera near to the seat. Joe, everyone loves Baldur's Gate. What are you talking about? Those streams, I played Baldur's Gate on, I don't know, Tuesday. And like 175 people watched it. It's listed as being episode 27 or something. People love to watch some Baldur's Gate. Keep saying your activation code isn't working. Oh, FTW, I'd love to help you out, but I don't know why Epic don't like you. I don't know what you've done to them. Did you side with Apple or Google in their legal case? Patrick, something is real. Oh, House Flipper 2 VR is real. Is it like an official VR support for House Flipper 2, or is this a mod? I know House Flipper 2 is supposed to be like a lot more broad and interesting than the first one was in terms of diversity of content and things. Now, I've heard people say that it's interesting, but I hadn't heard people say you can play it in VR. That's because you shit talk Fortnite a lot. There you go. That explains it all. That explains it all. Okay, so PC has everything. No particularly interesting happenings in terms of like graphics cards and all the rest of it. Hardware advances in the PC space. Lots of stuttery games at the start of the year. Star Wars Jedi Survivor was still a mess when I played it. Frame gen technology is definitely an interesting development in that space, which I avoid where possible, but as a crutch, if you need it for your path traced Alan Wake and Cyberpunk, then it's kind of brilliant. Okay, Patrick, I believe you. I will check it. I know that he's reviewed House Flipper 2, but I didn't know about the VR bit. Yeah, that's PC stuff. So let's move on. Luke Steele, PC has also had... Welcome, by the way, Luke. Good to see you. PC's had some terrible AAA ports this year. Jedi Survivor is the one that I just mentioned, is still... It had significant problems on all platforms, and it had significant improvements on all platforms, but I tried to play it a couple of months ago on the PC. On a 4090 and was not satisfied. So I haven't got through that one yet. But you're right, like AAA everything, interesting technologies, loads of stuff happening. No handy shifts towards the like the mid and low end price points seem to be not that appetizing, considering we're 3 years into the console generation. There should be some very enticing options there that I'm not sure there are. I don't follow it too closely though, because then I end up buying too much. Epic is having issues. You can't even load up the home page. Oh, it'll be back. Jedi Survivor was rough. It is better, but traversal hitches are still there. Yeah, I couldn't, like, even with the frame gen, I couldn't make it nice and pleasant to play that one. So, plus I didn't actually like the structure of the game from what I played. I'm only in the opening hour kind of thing, but look for next climbable ledge got old very quickly. Don't forget to submit your questions for the end. Yes, people can submit questions for the end. Actually, I can't see those. I will see them when the time comes though. And I'm going to need to check the Discord before the end. So, where are we now? We're 20 to 11. I best get a move on. So that's PC. Bush, bash, bosh. Moving on. It's brilliant. You played Survivor the other day on the 4090 and it's still stuttering. Yeah, and I had the... I was playing around with the frame gen and it did not like... I'm assuming the motion blur, but there was some combination of settings that just made everything break up around the character every time the camera moved. So, Dave Mac, what are my thoughts on the PSVR 2 on Gran Turismo 7 visuals? They didn't blow your mind like they thought they would. It's The environments won't blow your mind, but the game is much better than playing something on a screen. It's still got, if you go slowly and you actually look at the trees in Gran Turismo, then you can't help but notice that they're looking straight back at you and following you around the track. But like that game's biggest strength is lighting, and the lighting in VR works really well. Do a night race. Do a night race with a little bit of rain and wait until you see the like other cars' headlights on the interior of your own car as you're driving, and look at the reflection on the inside of the windscreen and on the dashboard, and see your own head, and move your head around, and you'll notice that actually that is your reflection moving around in there. It's got lots of cool touches like that. Material detail inside the car is really nice, but the scenery, much like Gran Turismo in pancake mode, is a bit flat. Replicant, you're surprised at how rough the port of Jedi was, given how good Respawn is. Yeah, not much else to say on that one, really, is there? Because they stuck to weird choices of engines most of the time as well. Is that still on their bastardized Source engine, or did they do different for Jedi Survivor? Alex, will I play a game after the Q&A for now? Not today, no. I might disappear offline and play a bit of Deerfield Chronicles or something, but I'm not going to stream a game today. Tomorrow, yes. Is it Unreal Engine? Okay. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe they should have stuck to the engine that they knew. Colin Prime, you've been AFK for a bit. Has anyone guessed the background? They did eventually guess the background, and eventually the OST. There was hours of fun trying to get through. They basically went through every game in order in the alphabet, start to finish. Took a long time to get to S, but the background is Spider-Man 2. The cockpit looks awesome when you're looking around, yeah. But yes, Dave Mac, I think if ever Gran Turismo 7 makes it to PC with a VR mode, then you'll be able to crisp up the things that are lacking. And that'll be cool. Tony, you guessed it, the first one. Did you know? Did you? The track looked a bit great. Yeah, I mean, it definitely uses the reprojection quite heavily as well. So if you look wrong, then you can get some ghosting in there. But overall, though, it's like it's racing in VR versus racing pancake. So it's a million times better. And a lot of people playing it have never raced in VR elsewhere. So let's move on to, as we're talking about it anyway, let's move on to PlayStation's year in review, shall we? Oh, we need 16K VR on each side. In theory, I could cover things like EA and Ubisoft and all these other publishers, and actually we will have a brief intermission from the platform to talk about my other big disappointment for the year. Can anyone guess what else I've been disappointed by this year that I was hoping would be really, really good, that I've said many times was not as good as I was hoping? Cullen Prime, that is an open question, because obviously it would be the first Sony game to come across into VR, and it would get people asking for everything else. But I'm not against that. I'd like to see it. Forza didn't disappoint me. In fact, I'm playing Forza more than I expected. I always said in the run-up to Forza that I wouldn't touch it. Dr. Scott C had the same mug. This was a present. I can't remember if it was Christmas or birthday. It was a birthday present from Isla, so. Patrick, it was a goal, but didn't end up on my face. Forspoken didn't disappoint me. Starfield didn't disappoint me. I'd like to play it in VR, so I'm a bit disappointed in that regard that it's taken so long, but of course I want Forza in VR, and of course I want Starfield in VR, but I didn't really have any expectations on that front. The one that disappointed me was Diablo 4. Yes, Replicant, not having time to play the entirety of WoW, like every class, every faction, retail and classic, that's devastating. I would like to be able to do that. And every time I have a look at it, I get reminded that the store is awful. So that's quite off-putting, but that is a disappointment. But Diablo 4, I really hoped would be more than it was. And it's not that it's a bad game. It's just that it's not. I haven't finished it yet. I play it for a couple of days. And the loop's a little bit interesting and then it wears really thin and I don't want to play it again for a few weeks, and then I play it and enjoy it a little bit and it wears thin. I'm struggling to even get through it. Like, building the character is not fun in that game. It did review well, episode 13, but disappointing to me. I'd feel entirely different if they included the roll button from Diablo 3. Then I'd be like, yeah, this is everything that I hoped it would be. But no. And the reason that I had hopes for it is because I have liked Blizzard forever and really wanted that game to like break the lingering suspicion that Blizzard weren't cool anymore. That their monetization wasn't like everything that's left of them. That they still just made brilliant games. And Diablo 4, it's not a lack of passion. The voice acting is brilliant, the graphics are brilliant. The story's probably okay, but I've not got far enough through it to really say. But it's not got the magic that they were known for. It's not hooking me at all. Yeah, Dr. Scott, so you enjoyed the campaign, but you were kind of disappointed with the overall package too. Yeah, I mean, I'm a sorcerer. And I don't find building the sorcerer remotely interesting. The choices that are presented are just bleh. I just want to roll into pots. But I like immediately before Diablo 4 came out, I was playing a game through with my family. So my wife and both of my children were playing Diablo 3. And every time they'd level up and you get a wealth of new skills and things, and they'd be like, oh, which one do I want to use? Which skill is best here? And I'd always answer to them like, try them. If one of them sounds fun, then use it. Give them a try. And if you don't like it, try a different one. And just try all of the things, because they all work and they're all different and they're all fun. And I played Diablo 4 and those choices just don't exist. They don't. You, as a sorcerer, you choose whether you want to focus on fire, ice or lightning, and you take the skills that you're told, and they feel so much less exciting to build your character up. And the loot is terrible. So it does some things really, really nicely. Very pretty, very good voice acting. Performs well. Has load screens. Diablo 3 didn't have load screens. And then it has this like multiplayer online live service structure with events that just, you go in, it's like, oh, there's an exciting event happening. I'm going to deal with this weird haunting event. And you do it. And then you walk out of the circle, and then the circle reappears, and you go back and you do it again. You know, what kind of a game structure is this? It's not an MMORPG from the 90s. It doesn't need respawning event content. Oh well, that was a disappointment. Let's not dwell on that. Let's move back to PlayStation. Is the new Ark better now? Oh, I don't know, episode 13, I think not. Ark Survival Evolved, which is like basically a remaster of Ark, I think, is my understanding of it. Launched with server troubles and performance troubles. And I don't know that they're necessarily fixed, but I don't know that they were necessarily fixed on Ark in the first place. Dave Mack was saying it'd be better to play Lost Ark. Lost Ark is horribly monetized. My oldest lad plays Lost Ark, and it looks gorgeous, and the classes look pretty entertaining, and it charges you to resurrect when you die. Like, 5 out of 10 for Sony, episode 13. So I'm still not particularly scoring. Sony's year, though, it hasn't exactly been full to the brim, has it? It's their PSVR 2, which redeems any company to release a VR product. So they're in the good books by virtue of having a virtual reality headset. But their content, so they had the Horizon Forbidden West DLC, which I haven't got around to yet. It's supposed to be very good, but I haven't got around to it yet. Obviously they had Spider-Man 2, and they had God of War Ragnarok Valhalla, which they gave away for free as a pleasant surprise for the company that doesn't often give you pleasant surprises. Back in a bit, you need to pick your daughter up from the pub. You're going to leave the stream on. No worries, Dave. I'll probably still be here when you get back, unless the pub's in a different part of the country. But stay safe indeed. Apple Vision. We're not even going to cover Apple, Tony. Maybe this time next year we'll be covering Apple. 10 out of 10 for Sony. Forspoken, so good. Yeah, I mean, that flopped for them pretty bad, didn't it? But so they didn't necessarily... Did they have any good like second party, it's a weird term, but publishing deals that paid off for them this year. Colin Prime to you, having a Yu-Gi-Oh game in VR would be a no-brainer. It's a missed opportunity. There is a fan-made Yu-Gi-Oh game that you can play in VR. I don't know Yu-Gi-Oh as an IP at all, but the concept of essentially a card game where you're summoning giant monsters, I've been begging for VR to do that properly. Just like the perspective of being there and being small as you summon gigantic creatures to fight each other would be such a spectacle in VR. So yes, missed opportunity, should be there. Stray was great until it came to Xbox. I don't care for Stray. I've never played it. Nothing about Stray appeals to me whatsoever. It's stealth cat. I've got nothing against cats, but I've got a lot against stealth. So, and like the trailers and gameplay clips that I saw of it had the bad kind of puzzles and the bad kind of stealth. What kind of cat can't jump? Yeah. You can jump at like designated press X to get to that ledge points, right? You just can't freely jump. Where's Pete to make his usual kind of pencil sharpener comment? I've not checked Stray to see if it's I'm not. Let's just end that train of thought immediately. So, one day you'll find a stealth game that you'll like and it'll be so funny. Pete, I don't doubt it. I'm adamant that it's not actually that I don't like stealth, it's that stealth is always terribly implemented in games. My issue with stealth, and Assassin's Creed Nexus in VR has the same issue. My issue with stealth in VR is that like people already have an innate awareness of like other people's perception, because we've all been people and we've all had interactions with people and we all know when we're being sneaky and we all know when people can and can't see us. And stealth games don't capture it right. The narrow cone visions and weird dumbness of stealth just, it feels wrong. It always feels, stealth in most games doesn't feel like being sneaky, it feels like playing Frogger. Like you just have to time when you move across a gap. Watch the patrols, watch the lilies floating down the river and hop across at the right time. Shit mechanic. Oops, I forgot, I'm not supposed to swear. Manhunt was the best stealth game made. I don't know what the best stealth game made is because I don't play them. So it could be that there is something that really like catches it just right for me. I thought that might be Hitman because Hitman is a different kind of stealth, but I didn't really enjoy because I played it in VR and the VR port was terrible. Joe, you did enjoy Stray. Fair enough. You love the two Plague Tale games. I hated Plague Tale. I played Requiem a little bit to get one of the backgrounds for this show. And right near the start, it has essentially an introduction to stealth bit where you play like hide and seek around some rubble with a child. Oh, I hated it so much. I hated it so much. Metal Gear Solid is probably the game that put me off of stealth, Joe. I think because I played Metal Gear Solid on the PS1 and I finished that. But I hated the stealth. We've all been people, not like I'm speaking broadly. I'm not convinced that everyone here has been people, Tom, but mostly. The music. You recognise the music. You love this game. It took people a long time to get it. Thank you, by the way, for yesterday. I had a good time on your podcast and very much appreciated the invite. So that was awesome. We're doing year in review of various platforms. We're on PlayStation at the moment. Did PlayStation have any other like publishing or significant second party deals that stood out for the year gone by, besides obviously Forspoken falling apart, disappointment with Firewall Ultra, Spider-Man being Spider-Man? Good. Yeah, I like, you have quite a kind community anyway, so there was nobody like being an arse about it. Alex, ACG is in the chat. He really wants me back on the show to replace Hamzy. And by Hamzy, I assume you mean Abzy, and there's no replacing Abzy. Abzy's cool. I'm happy to go back onto ACG show whenever it works for him, but not to replace anyone. He's got good guys over there. Broken nose o'clock. You want that one? Okay, we can do that. Is Connor still here? Tom, you want food and booze? Yeah, fair enough. The Hamzy and Carrot podcast. Yeah. Connor is here. Okay, fine. Fine. You're going to be so disappointed. It's not a brilliant story. So, little intermission. So, we'll round off PlayStation, actually. So, PlayStation's year happened. That sums that up. Hold off until Connor is gone. So, my nose. It's a little known secret. It was a secret for a good 3 years of this channel existing or something, but some of you kind of know now. Stephen King quality. No, Connor, I didn't promise you a good story. You bullied me into saying that you could have the story. It is a true story, not a good story. Oh, Final Fantasy 16, I forgot about that. Thank you, Replicant. That was significant. I haven't played it yet, but it's a landmark of a sort. So, my nose is a secret. No, the fact that I do Taekwondo was the secret. Right? I've done that for a long time. For 20 odd years. I got my 5th Dan black belt this year. I'm well established in that particular martial art. My nose, unsurprisingly, was broken fighting in Taekwondo. I was at an event, I can't remember if it was an English or a British Championships. It was a national level event where the venue wasn't very big. So when I say I do Taekwondo, I don't do WT Taekwondo, the sports Olympic style Taekwondo that's all kicks. I do the one that's more akin to kickboxing, so punching and kicking. This music's horrible. What a backing to my story. So I was in an arena that had not enough space. I have all of these areas set up for people to fight on. And backed immediately onto the area that I was fighting on was a table for the judges that they were all sitting at. I was fighting a guy who was shorter than me, but quite a lot heavier than me. We were in sudden death. And I backed into the table that was too close to the area. And being one of those people that does human things, I kind of tipped at the table a little bit. I put my hand on it and turned my head to not fall on the table and to check what was behind me. And the guy that I was fighting did not hesitate to punch me twice and kick me in the head. I fell face first through the table. And that's the story of how I broke my nose. Yes, ACG. And you talk about going to teach sometimes. So I did mean to ask you what it is that you teach. But yeah, that's how I broke my nose. I fell through a table. And when I say fell through a table, I was punched and kicked and fell face first through a table. I don't know what was under the table. I'm not sure I know I ended up where the table used to be. I'm pretty sure it was the table that did the damage though. It broke quite well as well. It broke, so I've got a really distinct point on the bridge of my nose that makes some VR headsets, the PSVR 2, sits on the lump really uncomfortably. It doesn't look as bad as it feels. Like if you touch it, you can go, oh, wow, that really did break good. So yeah, Connor, that's the story of how I broke my nose. Tony, in the game parody I did, my stance on how I lean on my toes more than my heels gave it away. You have a good eye then, I'm not sure about that one, but yeah. Connor, actually, I remember it really distinctly because I was doing a Robo Recall stream and you said that I looked like someone that would do karate and I just laughed because nobody knew at that point. It was entirely secret. It got away from me when I got my 5th down because I couldn't keep it entirely secret. I was excited. I didn't slip on a banana. Isla was there. She witnessed the breaking of the nose, so she can tell you if there was any inaccuracy in my portrayal of the story. There might have been a trophy or something under it, but it was the table that did the damage. It looked painful just after I did it. No, oh no, no. It was before I was streaming, Pete. I broke it again. It breaks much more easily since then. So I have broken it since, but when will I be in Street Fighter? ICG teach boxing fundamentals to kids locally and also their advancement plans. Kenpo as well to 3 full-time kids. Well, that's cool. I love the martial arts. Don't be sorry about my broken nose. I love it. It's like fun. Yeah. It would be nice if it wouldn't break so easily like next time people hit it, but it was the British Championships because then I had the holidays for it to heal before the next competition. Yeah, I did. Yeah, good times. So when you eat at a table, do you suffer from face motion? I've not been near a table since. I'm terrified of tables. Broken noses are always broken or almost always getting ready to be broken. Yeah, it broke again under such soft circumstances as well. Like people can punch it broken now. But same with hands. I've done plenty of damage to my hands and I'm okay with that. I don't like the broken nose wasn't a problem. It didn't really hurt. They told me I wasn't allowed to drive home without going to hospital, which obviously I completely ignored. Managed to find somebody else who was a medical practitioner of some sort who agreed to like patch up because it was cut quite a bit as well. So they managed to like stick some of the skin back on enough for it to vaguely not bleed the entire way home. Good times, good times. I hope, Connor, that you're satisfied that you got the story that you have been badgering me for. Tom, were yesterday's trousers related? Yesterday's trousers were Taekwondo Dobok trousers, yes. They're comfortable for streaming and moving. That's what they're designed for. Unlike most trousers on my treadmill, they don't fall down. So I thought, you know, I can get away with wearing these. They're quite subtle. No one's going to know. And none of you would shut up about the damn trousers. Did the bloke get arrested? No, he was just doing his job. He was supposed to be trying to hit me. There's nothing untoward about it. I haven't seen him at a competition since though. It's funny actually because this must have happened not that long before COVID because I was on a furious streak. I was ready to kill. And the competition where I was ready to kill at didn't happen. Got shut down by COVID. Or Connor, you know that if you are going to fight me, break my nose. But do know that it won't stop me. I don't care when my nose breaks. So, how does the GeForce Max bitrate work for the gameplay data usage? I'm assuming that is what's a good adjustment I recommend. Alex, do you have like bandwidth caps and things where you are? Where I am, you don't. Like in the UK, usage caps aren't really a thing. So you just want it to be as high as you can comfortably maintain on your connection. For me, I'm not on a brilliant connection. My max is like 80 meg. When I was testing GeForce Now for the video that I did, I had it set to cap at 70, but it didn't hit 70. But generally, you want it high. GeForce Now is beautiful. So, and what settings are you currently hitting, Alex? And what kind of connection have you got? Tony, if you want to stop, you need to know my 3 worst fears. And I don't have 3 fears, Tony. I know I just said that I'm scared of tables, but that wasn't 100% true. I eat at tables most days. That's not true, actually. I hardly ever eat at a table. Maybe I am scared of tables. Damn. Teach you how to fight before we fight. I mean, I've been doing it for like 20 odd years, so it'll take a little while. Take a little while. Tables, Tonio and Isla. No, Pete. No, Pete. Not scared of Tony, not scared of Isla. My fears. Do I tell you? No, I'm not going to tell you. Not going to tell you. Oh, you can be scary, Isla. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not scared of you. Just like you're not scared of me, but you should be. Let's move on to Xbox, right? We've done that story. That was good fun. Right? Like you all know a little bit more about me now. Why my nose is like that. Why I struggle with PlayStation VR 2 sometimes. Why it sits funny on my nose. How was the year for Xbox? Tom, one day a film named The Japanese Badger shall be made. It shall be trippy kung fu virtual reality tale with a hint of wrong. A big hint of wrong. You mean Tony, right? What is this music doing? Have I seen Isla break Vegeta? I missed that episode. So, Xbox's year in review. How do we feel about it? Is episode 13 still here? Can we upset him? If episode 13 is still here, I'm going to say that it was a terrible year for Xbox. But if he's gone, then we can speak more honestly and openly. I was there when you dislocated that girl's shoulder. Yes, I was. Yes, I was. Your speed down is 400 meg. Oh, Alex, set it at least 100 and let it go. It won't use more than that, but you can comfortably set it at 100 and let it do its thing. You could set it higher, but it won't use it. This is true. I remember this conversation. Let's talk about Redfall. That's going to come up. We're talking about Microsoft's year, right? And that was supposed to be the turning point. I think overall, it's fair to say that nothing Microsoft did really like smashed it out of the park and all of that. But they are coming around to a consistency and a release schedule. They're actually releasing games now. They had games this year. No, Redfall didn't land. Arguably, Forza and Starfield, like they did all right, but people were. I mean, they weren't the 90s that people wanted, were they? Either of them. And I quite like Forza, quite like Starfield, but Redfall was a huge disappointment for you. You were so excited for it. So Redfall always looked a little bit off to me, so I wasn't particularly disappointed. It doesn't get on that little podium alongside Diablo and Firewall for me. But I can understand a lot of people were disappointed by Redfall. But yeah, they did all right, didn't they? I think this year in particular won't go down in history as like a banging Xbox year, but it will go down as the turning point for them, where like, wow, they can finally release games now, and that shouldn't stop. They should keep on rolling now. They will get these ones that smash it out of the park, and people will say, wow, this is the best year for Microsoft in the next year or two. But more importantly, they had games this year, and that will continue. Is the impression that I would get from them. You wouldn't say any console did brilliant this year. At the same time, though, it's funny to come away from this year saying that, though, and say like none of the consoles did well this year, whilst in the same breath saying this has been like, a fantastic year for games, right? And everyone broadly agrees that if you set aside like the state of the industry and the redundancies and firings and studio closures and all of those kind of things, if you just look at it in terms of games releasing, it's broadly considered that this year was fantastic. So it must have been good for the consoles by virtue of that, right? Might not have been brilliant for first party releases all around, but for games in those console libraries, holistically fantastic. Their business is more diverse. Yeah, Microsoft are well set going forwards. I don't care about the mobile stuff. I know that they've had a really significant win on that with it was Epic versus Google, wasn't it? Google are going to be forced to open their store, and it might take some years, but it means that Microsoft's plan is like full steam ahead in terms of getting that mobile store and being all encompassing. But the stuff I care for, great years all around because there's been so much to play. Okay, maybe some of it came from like unusual sources like Warner Brothers or EA or Ubisoft or whatever else. There's been games everywhere. So you can't... As yeah, good for games, you got too much to play. The first party was crap, but that's the purpose of the consoles, right? They come out for the opening 1 to 3 years where support from third party is spotty, and reasonably so, because third parties can't make bank unless they're supporting the large user base. So third parties have to do the cross-party stuff, and you put all the emphasis on Sony and Microsoft to carry the catalogue at that point, which Sony did very well and Microsoft less so for those opening couple of years. But as the consoles mature to this point in the life cycle, it should be the case that third party take a lot more of the slack, right? That's the way that the ecosystems are set up for them to do the work at the start and then stick their feet up and make loads of money. So really, the fact that Microsoft are doing it, and like Sony have traditionally done it weird as well, not carried their first 2 or 3 years all that strongly. Now though, I don't know, it's all changing. We've had a fantastic year for games, and we're going to have even more fantastic ones next year, aren't we? What, because I don't want to end on a high, I want the negatives in there. So I spoke about my biggest disappointments for the year. You mentioned Redfall there, but what else has been disappointing for all of you this year? What sucked? No, Xbox VR is devastating, Space Denizen. I don't need VR on an Xbox console, but I need Xbox games in VR. I need Forza Horizon and Forza Motorsport. And everything else that Xbox do would be better in VR as well. So, yes, you're right, Space Denizen, 0 out of 10 for them. Replicant, you like Xbox's approach to day one on PC? For me, as a person with a PC, absolutely makes sense. At the same time, I don't think it necessarily makes... the industry is shifting that way anyway, whether Sony like it or not. But timing-wise, it doesn't necessarily make sense for Sony to do it just yet. Party Animals. Oh, Joe, that was such a disappointment. Like, how have we fallen so far? He's gone, hasn't he? Episode 13 is not here. Someone become a member, please. I want to see the... Console wars sucked. Twitter has been a sea of sadness. Pete, just ignore it. He might listen back. He might. And he will bite as well. Even though none of us will be there live anymore, he'll still bite. Do I recommend or agree a Toblerone chocolate bar to be a good gift for me and others? I like Toblerones. That's a good chocolate bar. Alex? Does depend on circumstance. You definitely don't need to get me a gift. But... Oh. Someone take it. Someone take it. It's gonna... I think it'll probably... MG, look what you've done. I think it's probably... Yeah, it's going to say Isla's name, but I see you there. Thank you. Thank you for triggering my very fancy alert. I'm going to do so many more of them. Super chats and things are going to do those. They're going to be everywhere. You're going to get so bored of them. But that's some fancy shit. Joe, he does know who you are. He was asking questions. He's like, who's that UK Foo Fighter? Why does he say that he knows me? You got him really on edge. Which was entertaining. Replicant, you think the current consoles are disappointing in terms of performance and resolution? Games on Unreal Engine 5 being upscaled from 720 and 30 frames. I can see where you're coming from. I'm not ready to write off Unreal Engine 5 performance just yet. We'll see what happens when some bigger studios are using it. But yeah, it's been underwhelming on quite a few games. MGene got it, yeah. I've got the wrong tag in terms of... To be fair, I need a different alert system for gifts so that it has more going on. But yeah, I still think this console generation in terms of hardware is far better than the last, so I'm not disappointed in that sense. Baz, if you see some tits at the bottom of the screen, you'll give loads of subs away. I mean, that's quite easy. I've got the access to the internet. I've got the world of the internet in front of me, and I've got a fine pair myself that are quite near the bottom of the screen, so I could do that. But it feels like cheating, so I'm not going to. You mean in an alert? No, that's not the vibe. You also have the internet at your fingertips. Tony, you would like a Godzilla type of notification at the 1-year anniversary sub. Path tracing, yeah, Tony and his path tracing its replicants also after those. So, what I will do is more diverse alerts. So when you get your 1 month membership things that you stick up in your super chats and stuff like that, those will start to display more variety. But for now, the ones that I've done, they're a good start. That Bifrost and Strange Portal, those are cool. When will I have time to watch a TV series or a movie? Good question. I do go through little bursts of watching like some anime and stuff. Will it be ready in 5 days? What happens in 5 days? How are you going to get the golden badger? I don't know. No, Baz. My dignity is so valuable. I'm keeping it for the time being. But using these fancy alerts. I've forgotten the question. TV series. So I'll go through a little burst. January the 7th, I get the finally dubbed finale to Attack on Titan. I'm going to watch that. I find anime more consumable than most TV series just because it's usually nice and short and I can just sit and catch a 20-minute episode, no problem. Longer series than that. Tell me some good ones. I'm really feeling spread thin on the likes of Star Wars and Marvel stuff. Spider-Verse 2, we nearly watched yesterday. With Lewis wanted to watch Spider-Verse 2. Was it Lewis or was it Ryan? One of them specifically asked to, but it wasn't quite available for us. So yes, we'll watch that at some point. Yeah, that's TV stuff. Like, I do watch it very occasionally, but I don't have enough time to play the games that I want to play, and TV is usually second fiddle. If you're a fighter, you got a piece of shit. No. You're still watching The Man in the High Castle. It's a really good show. I've never heard of that one. Never heard of it. Or Slow Horses, a spy show. You finally get around to finishing Archer. That just finished, like, finished, doesn't it? So you're not that far behind if you're also finishing it. I've never seen any of it, but I just saw something somewhere that it had its final episode. Baz can't stand some twat. T-Rex is turning into a full-time Ninjago. Going to put him into Taekwondo like his uncle. Tony, please don't say that your kid calls me Uncle Ass. I kind of appreciate it if he does, actually. That's cool. Pete, he's not saying that he can't stand that twat, Pete. I can see how you would read it that way. Right. Let's do the questions, shall we? Before we do the questions... Oh, I must watch the upcoming Halo Season 2, but I haven't watched the first one. For the director of the show to come out and say that they've never even played a Halo game is like... This program is disrespectful to a thing that I like, so it's hard to watch. I'm gonna get... Before I've broken. Right, the questions from Discord. So, Pete, my question is, will questions be placed in here be publicly visible before the Thursday show? Yeah, kind of. We did discuss that a little bit. Hopefully less so going forwards. This is the Discord server, by the way. If you are a member, if you follow the link on there and get the guest access, then you can leave questions throughout the week, and I'm just quickly whizzing through those now. Tom, spoiler tags. No, these aren't real questions. Tom says I'm a genius. I like that. Tony, will you buy a mid-gen refresh of Xbox or would you skip it? That depends on what the mid-gen refresh is, Tony. If it's the speculated, it's the same console, but now it's round and has a slightly more storage space, no, I wouldn't spend money on that. If it was a better version of the console, again, I'd have to think about it and see what the hardware spec is, because I do play most of my Xbox games on a PC that's like console's not going to touch. So then it would depend how much money I had kicking around to just piss around with. But no, I don't have any pressing need to get a new Xbox. And Pete has asked, are we about to see the renaissance of excellent AA games and a pullback from the ridiculous no-risk 3+ star games that take no creative risks? I don't know, Pete. There was like some of the leaked Sony documentation said that they were asking the same question. Should we like make, rather than 300 million games, should we make like 300 million games or whatever and have less risk and more return potentially? It's difficult because I don't know what has changed to push them back in that direction. I think their fans want that and have wanted that for the longest time, like go back to taking risks and making new games. But the circumstances that push them towards the model that they're currently on, the circumstances that push them towards established IP licenses, AAA games, no risk, and all the rest of it, those haven't changed in any way. If anything, they've become more exaggerated. So I don't know what the chances are of the likes of Sony going back to AA games, but it's definitely something that Game Pass encourages and supports. So if the industry does shift more towards that subscription level service, suddenly smaller budgets make a lot more sense, which you can take as a good thing or a bad thing. But like, even if you're Microsoft and you're planning like Gears of War 6 and you've got the option of spending 300 million or 100 million on it, the difference in return isn't necessarily going to be that 200 million. So actually it's quite possible that a lot of games will get smaller. And, you know, hard to say what direction that's going to go. Subscriptions are not dominant at the moment anyway. Like the industry hasn't hit that pivotal moment where that defines what comes out. Hopefully, like ideally, all of these new models and all of these new ways of monetizing will support more diverse games across the board, the big and the small and everything in between. Reality of it, let's watch and see. If all goes wrong, there's always Nintendo on their little island from 20 years in the past. And another question for Pete. Has anyone spotted what might be the start of a new game genre appearing? They rarely happen, but they're an incredible event when they do. A new game genre is for people more creative than me. That's a question for everyone though. Does anyone like see anything new happening in the gaming space? A new kind of game, or whether it be a whole genre or just a trend that everyone else is going to follow? Because Elden Ring started the no HUD trend that didn't really take root until Avatar came out and was very confusing. But there's got to be other examples, right? That's not a genre, that's a minor change. Let me catch up with what you're saying here. Tony, did I think the first one was good or bad? I've not watched Halo 1 series for the reasons given. Affront to Halo, right? You do get Master Cheeks. Why do you get Master Cheeks? That shouldn't be a thing. Alright, let's link the Discord again. Thank you very much. What if it was adorably all digital? Yeah, that's really not a selling point. I actually have an all digital PlayStation 5, which I regret. Because if I were to do comparison videos and things like that, it would have been quite handy to be able to rent discs. Didn't think that through when I bought it, did I? But I never buy discs, so it wasn't relevant at the time. FCW, I nearly called you for the win again. No mid-gen refresh for you, you'd rather upgrade your PC. That's the Xbox conundrum, right? The consoles are no longer essential by any stretch if you've got a PC, which is not a bad thing for anyone. It's not a bad thing for the consumer, and it's not a bad thing for Microsoft. But it is a reality that means those consoles will never be in quite the same demand because you've got other options. For me, I would be getting a new Xbox because I like to collect things and because I'm intrigued, not because it fit any particular hole in my game space. And again, that's different for people that have their PCs and their consoles separate and on different displays and all the rest of it. So there are spaces for new consoles and for Xboxes for some people. Baz, you're glad that Xbox fixed. You got it fixed. Oh, your fan is working now. Did you have to send it off, or did you fix it yourself with the fan from wherever you bought it? Tony, remake Bloodborne and they will have enough money. They can't remake Bloodborne. They lost the password. DokeV, not real. More remasters, that's the trend. I'm not necessarily anti-remaster. I'm anti the soft, really small remaster. But then, like, obvious example right now is Last of Us Part 2. As a 10 quid upgrade path, sure, why not? Like, bring things up to current standards as much as you want. Not at the expense of proper games, but it's not Naughty Dog making The Last of Us remastered, is it? So, whatever. Whatever, let some people cut their teeth on those projects. Alex, what's PlayStation up to? When will we get Ghost of Tsushima 2? We'll get Ghost of Tsushima 2 2 to 3 months after we get Ghost of Tsushima 1 on the PC. So it's in the works. It's the reason that we haven't got Ghost of Tsushima 1 yet. I wouldn't be surprised if you hear on that one this year, but I'm not an insider. It's all guesswork and speculation on my part. FTW, you just want more Souls games. You just want more Souls games from Software, or you just like the genre? Do you enjoy like the Lords of the Fallen kind of Souls mimics? And Dr. Scott C, Light No Fire definitely has the potential to be a big new thing. Is it a new genre though? It can definitely be a big game, but do you see it sparking copycats? Oh, what is this? Why did I get a Mario OST? That was a mistake. Mario can't do anything right. For fuck's sake. Tony, you know which. FCW, if they said Grand Theft Auto 6 will run 60 frames per second on a PS5 Pro, you might change your mind. I'm more inclined, like, PlayStation still has that console impetus anyway, because I can't play PlayStation games on PC in the time frame that I necessarily want to, so I'm annoyed that I'm still waiting for Final Fantasy 16. So PlayStation 5 Pro is a more likely purchase than an Xbox refresh. Which again isn't necessarily a good thing. I'm not saying I'm glad that I get to spend money on essentially redundant hardware. I've never been a fan of that. I've never been a fan of games being exclusive as a reason to buy a platform. I was pissed that I had to get an Xbox One and a PlayStation 4 just because of exclusive games rather than because either piece of hardware was remotely interesting. I'd much rather they just sold hardware to me, hardware and services on their own merit rather than exclusive catalogs, but it is what it is. Joe, looking at what you played this year, you think Dredge is the most new genre-like thing you play? And describe it. I've never played Dredge. What do? I thought it was a fishing game. Or is that Dredge? I can't remember. Baz, you did it yourself, sending your broken fans from Amazon. Yeah, I mean, if it's working, then that's cool. I'm glad that's working for you. It sucked that it was breaking. So, FCW, you just love the genre. You loved Lies of P. Lords of the Fallen pissed you off because it ran like shit. So what good Souls-likes are there? Do you like the 2D Souls-likes? Like, I can't remember. Erica's channel has a lot of Souls content. Ericuts for the win. She likes that kind of stuff, but including the 2D ones, which I've not played. I have no strong opinion on. Dr. Scott C, you're thinking pieces of it could spark ideas in other games to create a newish genre. I'm not sure. Like, its signature is obviously its procedural generation and scope and scale. So you never know, maybe. Pete, did you miss Dredge on Game Pass, or has it not been on yet? I don't know. Alex, apparently we're getting a new Xbox console in 2026 with Blade. I'm not sure about the association with Blade. I think some people read into it not having platforms announced as being that means it's on the next Xbox. There's no connection there. Like, Blade is definitely coming to the Xbox Series consoles, even if there is a new Xbox. So... but that doesn't mean that there isn't a new Xbox. There could be one in 2026. I thought there would be one sooner. Microsoft are geared to do one whenever the hell they want, because the way that they handle generations now, or essentially don't handle generations now, it's a nice smooth transition from one console to the next. So yes, could see it happening. I think we would have seen an Xbox much sooner if the hardware market had followed more predictable trends. The reason that we haven't is all connected to the reason that the consoles went up in price rather than down. Space Denizen, you won't upgrade the PlayStation 5 unless we get more substantial VR exclusives. That's fair. Do you actually, Space Denizen, do you still play Pancake games at all, or are you exclusively virtual reality? Bug wasn't Souls-like, was it? Is it supposed to be hard, Hollow Knight? I always thought of it more as a Metroidvania, which is, again, a thing I'm not a massive fan of typically. Dead Cells was amazing. Dead Cells was roguelike, wasn't it? I guess if your link to like the Souls genre is primarily that it means it's difficult, then any of those could fit into it. You played the first Blasphemous, really? I think it was Alex that was insisting that I get the second one. No, it wasn't Alex. It was who was it? Someone that's currently making a game themselves was telling me I have to play Blasphemous 2. It's the best game ever. Last Faith is one that I saw Ericut's review. Dredge hasn't been on Xbox. Oh, on Game Pass. Not sure about PC. I don't think it's been on PC and not Xbox. So depends on what tech AMD has. That's a big part of it, Replicant. There haven't been... this is mentioned in the past as well. But this is what I mean about hardware going up in price rather than down. Like the shopping list to make a viable console that's more powerful and well priced. There's just not been anything on the menu. So you're right, it's all tied to that. Isla, you heard people call it Souls-like. People say Souls-like as soon as something's difficult, so maybe. That's not... I'm not sure how I would personally define like a Souls genre. What makes something Souls-like? For me, like, if it just means it's difficult, I probably wouldn't follow that line of thinking, but I know a lot of people do. Alex, am I a Nintendo fan while I buy a Switch 2? I hate Nintendo and I will buy a Switch 2. I don't hate Nintendo. I don't like the Switch. Because I don't play on small screens. The Switch is very good for people that want a portable device, I'm sure, and especially when it actually came out, was very good for people that want a portable device. I don't want a portable device. If Nintendo give me a device that is good for using on a TV or with a VR headset, absolutely, straight away. So yes, I will get a Switch 2 because I want to be able to play their games at a more comfortable quality than I can at the moment. You do play the odd pancake, maybe a few a year, but a lot more VR. Fair enough. What makes something Souls-like? That's the question, either. I don't know. Bonfires. You could tie it to like the death mechanics, or I think a lot of people have previously tied it to the like the respawn mechanics. So not just player death, but the like resting and dying, bringing back all of the enemies, and it being a slog to get through them, has been kind of a defining feature of Souls games. But I don't know. I'm not an expert on that. Dave, your daughter thinks you're her chauffeur. Get used to it. You are, I'm afraid. Dredge has a cool looking VR mod. Does it? Everything's got cool VR stuff. I need more time. What is Dredge though? Nobody answered that one yet. What are you doing, Dredge? Is it a fishing game or is it not? I don't know. Replicant, what will AMD have in play now for a console in 2026? I don't follow their hardware, but... So you were saying earlier that you were particularly disappointed with the way that the current consoles handle Unreal Engine 5. Have AMD not got more capable hardware to do that now? I'm saying this as someone who's not followed closely. I try and avoid following like processors and things too closely, because then I end up wanting to buy things, and that's bad mojo. Can't do that, so I try not to look too closely. But have there not been advances that would make sense to get those Unreal Engine 5 games where you want them to be? And I am asking that as a question because I don't know the answer. Pete, unless Microsoft start putting their own chips back on the agenda, well, they do have they've started up making their own AI chips, haven't they? Which could make a big difference in a console. That's supposed to be, speculatively, that's like a key feature of the PS5 Pro, and I don't know if there's any truth to that or not, but it'd be an interesting development if there is some truth to it. Oh, I thought I was at the bottom of the chat, but no, I haven't scrolled. RDNA 4 isn't until late 2024. I'll read your other. I can't. I'm lost. I'm well behind. I need to scroll. The risk-reward death mechanic is the #1 key to a Souls-like. No, Alex, I've not played Tears of the Kingdom. I've not played Breath of the Wild yet. I do intend to. Waiting on that discount. You wish Xbox would go with Nvidia. Yeah. Yeah, Nvidia, this is like mutual though. I know they had their falling out over the Xbox One and Nvidia's refusal to lower prices and revise the hardware over time. But also, like, Nvidia don't sniff around consoles because the margins weren't good there. AMD needed it to salvage their own sales. Nvidia had less need, so I don't disagree. It would be cool if one or the other went Nvidia and made hardware more competitive in that regard. Space then, it's got to be a roguelike with experience currency for leveling. Yeah, I've never actually described a Souls game as roguelike, but I guess it makes sense in that you reset and respawn to some degree, don't you, with everything coming back. Power efficiency is an interesting one because I'm not sure. Like Microsoft do care and Sony do care, but I'm not sure that they should. FCW, you're a fisherman and dredging is when you move the land on the ocean floor to get materials from the ocean floor. So is that what dredge is all about? You go fishing, but you drag tectonic plates around? No, when you, I don't know, like deep fishing, pissing around with the ocean floor and finding Cthulhu or something. I don't know a lot about dredge at all. Tony, Xbox can go Nvidia with the features and architecture they have in place. They could. They could. They could. They won't. It would end up being too expensive for them. Nvidia are in a stronger position to demand more money than AMD ever are. So, in terms of backwards compatibility and stuff, though, yeah, like it's the strength of DirectX is they do and have for a while dictated the feature sets. Isla, you said it's got a bunch of bosses you do in any order you want, and the story needs to be figured out somewhere. Yeah, I don't think that's true of other Souls games necessarily, though. A lot of Souls, it's not all Souls games, but a lot of them are quite linear. Is Hollow Knight not Metroidvania? Do you not expose new areas within the levels by getting your new abilities and stuff? That's what I always assumed that game was, but... I own a Switch. Wait a minute. So I own a Switch. Why don't I wait for the Switch 2? You're also waiting for it. That's effectively what I'm doing. There's a big catalogue of Switch games. I really hope for a nice backward compatible enhancement program for that console. There's no guarantees that we get it because Nintendo do whatever the hell they want. Tom, AMD versus Nvidia consoles would be an interesting parallel dimension. It would be much more interesting than here's your identical consoles, fight about your exclusives and buy both. But we need to know what Switch 2 is, or do we already know? We don't already know, Pete. There's been years of pretend leaks over what Nintendo are doing, and lots of speculation on what it'll be. But we don't know, no. There's no idea on back compat or what quirky new feature Nintendo are going to try and introduce, but... Pete, Nintendo Switch 2 is a continuation, a saga of the Wii U. Well, it could be, Tony. Could be. They normally, like, for the last several generations, they always do something new, but they don't throw away what they'd already done. Like, the Wii U introduced the screen, but it didn't throw away the waggle from the Wii. And the Switch didn't throw away the screen from the Wii U. So they normally do build upon what they've already done. So the Switch 2 will do everything that a Switch does. It just might also tickle your balls. I don't know. Don't know what it's going to do. Switch has been wildly successful, so maybe they do just want to iterate. We shall see. Let's do... It's been long, so let's do the question. It's 20 to 12. Quick, let's do the questions. No, I think they'll release one, Alex. I think there is a Switch 2 coming. I just don't know what it is, what it looks like, what it does. Don't panic. Oh wait, there's already. So, Space Denizen asked, FCE thought. So, First Contact, the makers of Firewall Ultra. Who I said I was really disappointed by their game. I'm more disappointed that they've shut down because obviously I want VR studios to exist and thrive and continue. My theory, there's two parts to it. So, it's quite possible that Firewall Ultra underperformed, so they didn't get the payouts that they hoped for to keep them going. More likely though, is that they couldn't find a publisher to keep the studio open. I imagine they had ideas for what they wanted to make next, because Firewall Ultra was published by Sony, but First Contact were an independent studio. And I rather suspect that they could not find anyone willing to put money into their next VR game, and that's sad. Because as much as I didn't like Firewall Ultra, they are a reasonably accomplished studio with a lot to offer. And the economics of VR games are difficult. Very, very hostile crowd to release a game to. Very, very wonky expectations of value. It's the whole, you see people complain about the price of games all the time in the console space. In the VR space, the expectation is the same. You expect, it's not so much in terms of graphics and stuff. I think people are beginning to appreciate that if you're on a Quest or whatever, you're not going to get the same graphical fidelity as you would on a console game or whatever, but they expect the same breadth of content. So we were talking earlier about Horizon Call of the Mountain. Like, it's not a proper Horizon game. You expect the same breadth of content for the same money, but if you take an extreme example of pricing, if you were to make a game for one person, a game that had like 100 million budget, that game would have to sell for over 100 million to that one person. And that's obviously a ridiculous extreme, but the VR marketplace is definitely nearer to that end of the scale than it is to the 50 million end of the scale. So expectations on what you're going to get, what the budget for a game should be, and how you get a return for it are wildly out of sync. And I'm not surprised that publishers don't want any part of it at the moment, but it's very, very sad. So just they don't call it Super Nintendo Switch. No, Tony, it's not going to be called that. You're a major L. Yeah, next question, please. Also, Tony and Ilo, if you have been doing the VR avatar stuff, I need to know about it. You think they suffered from hubris? Aim down sights in VR is a bust, and it was still a lobby sim. Yeah, they were like small as well though, and it being a lobby sim would have been more bearable if the lobby actually worked, right? It was a disaster when it came out, which is sad. But I don't think they were shut down because Firewall Ultra. I think they were shut down because they couldn't get anything forward rather than anything that they've done backwards. But who knows? Who knows? Alex, will I review the Nintendo Switch 2 on my channel? I've not really done a hardware review before, so I'm not sure there will be much value to it. That's not a definite no, because I don't know what direction I'll go in terms of what kind of content I'll do. If I get one, I will definitely talk about it. But review's like a serious word. And I don't really know what that would look like without thinking about it. They were small, but their office faced the beach, and they only made one PSVR shooter. Their office faced the beach. That sounds nice for them, at least. Tony, gaming-wise, we are doing well. Elden Ring last year and Baldur's Gate 3 this year. It's great we still have devs that know how to evolve and create great games. Who do you think will do the same next? So both Elden Ring and Baldur's Gate 3 came from developers that were actually well established in terms of making quality games beforehand, that kept building on that quality so much that they managed to break through. And obviously From Software and Larian are still around. Larian in particular, it's going to be a while until we see anything else from them because they're still adding to Baldur's Gate 3. Doesn't really count, but CD Projekt Red are still talking a big game, saying like they're not up for acquisition, they're growing, they're doing big things, they've got these massive plans for the next Witcher game. I can't help but be excited for the next Witcher game. Dragon's Dogma 2 is going to be the best game next year though. So can I go with that? Can I say Capcom and Dragon's Dogma 2? They're the next one that's gonna break through and evolve a genre that's already out there. They've already got quality to build on because everyone loves Capcom's latest output. But Dragon's Dogma 2 is going to teach people about dynamic and emergent gameplay. It's going to redefine open worlds, I think. Yes, happy with my answer. Rest of you, what do you think though? What do you see like really being a breakthrough success? Next question, please. Oh. And also, yeah, there's still plenty of you there. So if you have any other guesses on what's going to break through and change things, then by all means, stick them in there. Tony has asked, gaming is a type of activity that has transcended other types of entertainment. If VR is the next step of gaming, would that mean a world where we all wear VR AR glasses? Or will it die once Apple fails? Well, Tony, if gaming has transcended all other types of entertainment in your own kind of premise or preposition, would you say that everybody in the world is gaming at the moment? If I take that away from you, then your follow-up doesn't make sense anymore. If VR is the next step of gaming, would we all wear VR AR glasses? No. Just like we don't all play games at the moment. Just like we don't all watch movies. Just like we don't all read books. It's not going to die once Apple fails. Proposition. Yeah. That's not really what it was, though. I don't know. I used the wrong words. Leave me alone with my bad words. Maybe it was a proposition. Anyway, Apple aren't going to fail because they're not going to try. Apple aren't trying to do VR games and they're not trying to do AR games. And they're like really specifically careful to avoid saying those words. That's how hard they're not trying to do those things. Spatial computing and like magic fairy dust is what Apple are doing. So it doesn't matter if they fail. What is the Apple VR headset actually for? Spatial computing and magic fairy dust. Business, like, I'm not sure what use it has. There'll probably be some really pretentious arty type places in London using it to do some sort of 3D works that I can't envisage. And it will do some, like the augmented reality stuff will have some place for some people as a way to visualize stuff. I don't know. I'm not excited by the Apple Vision. Even if it turns out to be really good hardware, they've made it very clear that they don't care for any kind of games and stuff. It runs on hopes and dreams to produce more hopes and dreams, Tony. But like, I'm glad that they're doing something. The more companies trying to invest and push the tech forwards, the better. But why they're so weary of letting people have a controller or whatever, I don't know. It's not going to make a difference to me, I don't think. So no, I don't think it'll do any harm, though. It's priced and branded such that the people that do get it will insist that it's really good. So in that sense, it'll do some good for VR. Because it'll be a very exclusive, very snooty club of people that will tell you it's the best thing they've ever had on their face. And hopefully some of that will trickle down and make people more interested in like the actual VR headsets. Pete is giving the recipe for success. 35 years ago, this book was written. The Feel Is by Mick Farron, and he was ahead of the game on VR and AR. Oh, now I want to know what he said, but that's a whole book, so I won't ask you to recite it in this moment. Next question, please. VR may take off big if Epic continues its metaverse route and adopts VR with it fully, especially after the Unreal Engine 5 injector shows up. So one of the big things around Quest VR at the moment is Roblox, which is a horrible experience in VR, but it is a metaverse in the way that Epic's platform is as well. And it is a selling point for kids. If Epic were to actually embrace it, it's kind of weird that we can't play Fortnite in it yet, given that Epic's whole deal with their engine is scalability. You can use it on mobile, you can use it on old consoles, you can use it on the new ones, you can use it with full ray tracing stuff. You can use it everywhere, so I'm surprised they haven't used it as a showpiece to show you can also do VR with it. Maybe that's an indictment of VR, but hopefully, you know, Fortnite in VR, and then we'll know we've made it. Alex, they have glasses now to make calls. Yeah, there's lots of things like that. And I do think long-term augmented reality is a much bigger play than virtual reality. Virtual reality will piggyback off of it. Augmented reality will hit the mainstream and capabilities will accelerate so that it does VR as well, and then people will be in VR and there's nothing they can do about it except take the glasses off. So, Tony, what's the longest play session that I've had in VR, and what would I recommend as a maximum playtime in VR? Not that long. So my headsets normally last about 2 hours, and I've got a battery pack plugged into the treadmill so that if I want to go longer I can plug it in. I don't use it that often. I have used it from time to time. I've not played for more than like 3. In terms of recommendations, I'm not sure what I'd say for recommendations, because it really depends on the person and how you feel. It's not like break any comparisons you have to sitting on a couch playing games on a screen. It doesn't do the same, and it doesn't need to do the same. So, I don't know, play for as long as you're comfortable and as long as you're having fun. Now, Pete, we would all try it without paying, but that isn't the Apple style here. Yeah. What was the other thing? So there was some old documentation from Microsoft that surfaced about the Halo VR game that they had in the planning stages that never materialized. So not the thing that did appear. A weird thing that had all kinds of crazy control schemes for how to move around by like tipping your head down to move forwards and shit like that. But they had, there's just one person who considered themselves very versed in VR, but they had a strict idea that you shouldn't ask anyone to spend more than 20 minutes inside virtual reality for any experience. Glad that person doesn't work on VR anymore, because that's ridiculous. Like, it's not that bad. Damn, 20 minutes. I want to play World of Warcraft, so I want to sit in there for 18 hours straight playing World of Warcraft. So there. Isla, when you played yesterday, it kind of hurt your eyes a bit. Yeah, maybe you do need to turn the brightness down or something, or maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's something you'll adjust to very quickly, or you did play it quite late as well, didn't you? You think from not blinking and from focusing. It might have been from over-focusing late into the night. Alex, you still play World of Warcraft? Good. So does Replicant. My wife really wants to. Replicant, you play it for an hour to 80 minutes at a maximum. I find that's about comfortable, yeah. Right, that kind of session works. But then if I did have like a World of Warcraft, I could see myself playing for a lot longer. So, I don't know. Running around on a treadmill is also a factor for me. Like, I do get tired sometimes. Stop playing when I can't see through the sweat. Next question, please. I can tell this has been long because my voice is starting to go. When can we expect the next Witcher game and Cyberpunk 2? So The Witcher 4, they're upstaffing from 150 to like 400 people at the moment. Getting into full-scale development, probably still 2 or 3 years away. And Cyberpunk after that. They've got a third game in the works as well, a new IP, so... Not that soon, Alex. Not that soon. There are definitely things that are happening though. Tony, VR, why do I see double sometimes? Like you lose focus and need to adjust your VR by moving it or sliding the eye lenses a bit. Don't know. Typically, if the lenses are shifted from side to side, personally, I've never seen double as a result of that. Like on older headsets with the Fresnel lenses, it might get blurry if the lenses were out of focus. On the Quest Pro that I use, it takes a lot of movement for it to even get blurry, so I don't see double. Not sure the answer to that one, Tony. Replicant might be right. It might be prescription inserts would solve that one for you. Oh, okay. So are you wearing glasses in the headset still? Oh yeah, and Quest people have to measure the distance between their pupils. So I've got the Quest Pro and it tells me, because it's obviously got the eye tracking like the PlayStation VR has, so it tells you where to put the lenses, where is correct. But I have had older headsets. I do remember the IPD challenges, and they were much more challenging with lesser lenses back in the day. Yeah, IPD, interpupillary distance. That's the official term for it. And you can get apps on your phone search for like an IPD measure, and then you just stare at the camera on your phone and it'll tell you the measurement. Pretty sure that's true. Not sure how it would get scale like that, but I think it does. Yeah, it knows how much your camera's zoomed in or whatever. It's got all the metrics it needs. 68, you're a lizard. A lizard. That's quite wide. Next question, please. So the Quest 3 that you're using isn't super sensitive. The lenses are really good. Older headsets, you had to have them positioned exactly right to get a clear picture. With the pancake lenses, you can have it a few millimeters off and still see pretty clearly, so guesswork is probably fine. Just adjust it if it's not feeling right. Take a measure, Tony. If you're varying that much, then yeah, get a measurement. Joe, how is the Meta Quest 3 in terms of needing a Facebook account and Zuckerfuck logging every time you blink? So they got rid of the Facebook requirement like a year ago, maybe more. That was a problem in the past. It used to be that if you had a Meta Quest and you bought a load of games on it, but then you swore at someone on Facebook or something, you could lose your account and all of your purchases and all the rest of it. But consumer pushback was strong enough that they ditched the requirement. So you can set it up with a dedicated Meta account that has nothing to do with Facebook. Doesn't mean that Zuckerberg is not counting your blinks and where you're looking and as much data as they can possibly get. But typically, it's not a concern that I hold. They're allowed to know where I'm looking and how many times I blink and what I say and what I buy, because they give me VR and all is forgiven in advance. Yours hasn't been up yet, Connor. Oh yeah, don't panic, Connor, it's coming. Right, next question, please. Alex, if someone wants to become famous, what social accounts do I recommend that they must have? I am the least expert advisor in that. I am a very good advisor if you want to know technically how to set stuff up for streaming, recording, fancy alerts, all of that kind of stuff. If people are wanting to do content creation and you have questions about it, that can be like a membership perk for sure, because I can advise people all day. But in terms of how to actually have success, I'm the last person to ask because I have no success myself. So yes, there are strengths and weaknesses to all the different platforms. Like, as you can see, I've been here for almost 3 hours and had almost no one go through on Twitch. It's very difficult to get there. Whereas YouTube has had a bunch of people discovering it and turning up and talking and having a nice time. TikTok I don't get along with, but people see great success on TikTok as well. So all of the platforms do all of these different things. It depends what kind of content you're looking at and what you want from it. But I could never position myself as a social media guru, because much as it makes Ida scream, like if I knew what I was doing, I'd have millions of people watching, right? I don't. So, when I play the classic zombie game, Stubbs the Zombie on stream. You've played that relatively recently, haven't you? Chronic, you know your IPD now. Please share with the class how you found out your IPD. Did you download an app on your phone to figure it out, or how did you measure it? Because there's a fair few people, mostly Tony, that could probably use that information. Replicant sent Tony something. Connor didn't miss a story about how I broke my nose. Oh, broke a guy's kneecaps. Okay. Okay, fine, good. You love that game. Maybe, Connor. I'm not against playing anything. Even stealth games I would potentially play at some point. I have like a big issue with time. But now that you've mentioned it, yeah, Stubbs the Zombie is on my list. I can't give you a promise on when, because I haven't done Vampire yet. Haven't done Shining the Holy Ark yet. Haven't done Cyberpunk to the end. Haven't done Elden Ring to the end. Oh, so much to play. You downloaded an app, Chronic. So there you go. Like I said, people, particularly you, Tony, that want to know what your lenses should be at, download that on your phone. Now, Replicant's already instructed Tony on how to do it. So yeah, you're set. You're all good. Fine. I am still taking all credit if it works out. Isla, when will I play Minecraft with you in VR? So Isla, how would you like to play Minecraft? You can sideload Questcraft, which is a bit of a ball ache. You'll need to, like, you won't struggle, but you need side quests to do that. So it takes a little bit of setup. There's not an official quest release for it. Or if your Surface can handle it, then you can play Bedrock Edition straight up, or the Vivecraft mod. And I will play it with you. I'm happy to do that. I love VR. I'm going to get so many people doing so many VR things. Walkabout Mini Golf is still next on the agenda, but I will play Minecraft in VR with you very soon. If it ends up being a PC version of it, I don't know if your system can handle that or not. You're playing Bedrock right now. What, in VR? Or Pancake? Are you playing Bedrock on your PC, on your Quest at the moment? Oh, talk to me afterwards. I need to know what you're doing. You've done things with your Quest already that I haven't got round to doing on mine yet, including setting up your avatar. Dave Mack, I need to spend lots more money on more cameras on Twitch to get seen. Yeah. Yeah, I do. To be fair, like, Twitch was a hell of a grind just to get affiliate back in the day that I did that. It took a lot of, just getting an average of 3 viewers on Twitch was really, really difficult. And that's despite having my wife and Isla in support. So I had 2 of the 3 and I still couldn't get 3 average viewers. Twitch is just hard, but it does build up if you do it enough. Like, it does build up. I know that it does because I've done it before. So it's spending more time on Twitch and getting better alerts, more fancy alerts, better portals, more sparks. It'll happen over time. How much is the Quest VR? And can it play Skyrim? It can't play Skyrim unless you've got a PC to pair it with, Connor. And the Quest 2 is like 250 quid, and the Quest 3 is more like 500. Paired with a PC, it can play Skyrim, otherwise not. Kratos, how's adult movies in VR? Terrible. I don't understand people's obsession with it. Movies in VR, and I said this to while I was streaming yesterday, Isla said that she had been skydiving in VR. Skydiving, I guess it probably works because everything's far away, but typically videos in VR suck. No, I did, Dave. I did. Videos in VR suck. They're not what it's made for. Like, they don't have proper depth. Whether it be adult or otherwise, like, don't use it for that. Use it for actual VR. Everything else, playing with 3D film wrapped around your face, that's just a headache. So Kratos, if you were looking to get VR for that particular purpose, Gaz will tell you it's brilliant, but Gaz is an idiot. Don't do it. David Jaff says cam girls in VR is incredible. Don't trust him. No to VR, but Replicant, have you watched, not necessarily adult, but have you done any like movie watching in VR? Like, am I wrong? Does anyone watch 3D video content in VR and find that it's like a good experience and not a terrible experience? T-Rex starts to play VR again, he's addicted. See, the future generations, they're going to love it. No, you haven't tried watching anything. Fair enough. .3D movies is different. If you've got a good player that will, in the way that I don't like cloud gaming, but if you've got like a screen experience, so you want to put up a fake screen in front of you and watch a 3D movie on it. I still haven't done this, but I imagine it's perfect. Right. So if you were ever into 3D movies, which most people weren't, but if you ever were, a faux screen doing it in VR should be able to get depth perfectly, but that's not the same as like a supposedly VR video. When will I play Alan Wake 2? It's so difficult, Alex. Like, all of these people are asking me to play all of these things, and I would love to play all of them all at once. Love playing all the games. Isla, you watched panoramic Minecraft footage. Was it horrible? Who's recorded panoramic Minecraft footage? You watched Doctor Strange 2 in 3D yesterday on the Quest 3. It was good for the experience, but not something you do regularly. I'm really curious about that, actually. Also, I didn't know that they still make. I didn't know Doctor Strange 2 was available in 3D. I thought Marvel had kind of stopped all of that stuff. I would like to watch a 3D movie on the Quest stuff just to see what it's like, even if it's not something I do regularly. So, Chronic, please share what player you're using or how you got a hold of that, because I would be curious to do a little testing myself. Tony's added Isla. Wait, I thought you were already doing stuff. Oh, you two are confusing me with your lies. You always watch Marvel in 4DX. Yeah, you go cinema, didn't you? Right. Isla asked, did I play more Klonoa? Not yet, but I am going to. Because I checked and it's really short. It's only like 4 hours long. So I'm probably not going to stream it. But at some point in the dark hours when everyone's gone to sleep, maybe today. I don't feel like Deerfield. I might push through a bit of Klonoa. Chronic, call you Captain Jack Sparrow. I will not. Next question, please. Connor, if you could erase one console generation, what one would you pick? PlayStation 4, Xbox One. I didn't like those consoles. They had plenty of games. I wouldn't like to erase the entire console, like the catalogue. Or actually, okay, fine. If you're talking about erasing the entire catalogue of games, Master System, NES, because that was before my time. So I wouldn't really miss out. Or anything prior to that. Just get rid of them and I won't even notice. Console hardware I liked least. Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Just didn't like the hardware. But they did have games. I wouldn't want to get rid of the entire game catalogues. So everything must go. Oh, I'll go back then. Master System and Nintendo. Pete played them. Pete, I'm in it for me. Every man for himself. Get rid of the ones that I've never sampled and then I'm not at a loss, right? Anyway, you were there at the start, weren't you, Pete? There's no generation that you missed, was there? Pete, having seen them all, which generation would you nix? If you had to get rid of an entire generation, which is the one to drop? And while you're answering that, let's have the next question. How is it 12? I get the impression that the more these pick up and the more people come along and talk to me, the longer they're going to run naturally. What's the meaning of life and are Fadges the next step in human existence? Dunno. Alex, I'm not skipping any questions. I address all of them. Fadges are definitely the next step. Or, you know, the ones that matter. We've talked about meaning of life before. And I'm fairly sure that it's like somewhere tied to games and boobs. On like some deep, profound level. But I haven't quite pinned down exactly what it is. If any of you know the answer, please do tell me, because I would be curious. Next question, please. Drop the Nintendo VR boy. That's not a generation. You can't get rid of that. You have to pick an actual, no easy answers console generation. Connor, what's today's sudden death? What's today's beverage of choice? Also going to need that as a weekly segment. I don't know. I had coffee with some Baileys in it. That was easy. And I had some variety of red wine, but I didn't actually read it. It was a Christmas present and I was in a rush. So I picked up a random bottle from the bag, opened it, poured it, drank it. Don't know what it was. It was quite nice. Meaning of life, you just play games and have fun in VR, just like me, and let Isla do the work. Yeah. Wait a minute. I do work. I spent hours setting up those fancy alerts that you saw today. Probably tens of hours. Not tens of hours, but lots of hours setting those up. I do work. They were really cool and really difficult. You have no idea. The bot that's activating those for me is not on the same network as the PC that's actually displaying them. So I had to configure firewall rules. And set tokens and triggers and all sorts. And rendering things into WebM with transparency. It's a mess. It's not trivial, Alex. I do loads of work. Oh, you're in trouble. I should have skipped your question. Right, next question, please. That wasn't even your question. I'm on Connor's question. Pete, like, I'm not ungrateful for the stuff that she does. Like, my alerts would be nothing without the badges in the first place that are cool. But, damn, I did loads. I answered beverage, yes, as best I could, with a non-answer, because I don't know the answer. Connor, you've been thinking about doing a weekly show at some point in the future. When you figure the details, if you ever get around to it, would I like to guest on it? Connor, this is the second time this year that I've been invited onto a podcast. This one's not even real yet, but it is my second invitation and I'm grateful. Of course I would. Of course I would. So yeah, if you do get around to setting that up, let me know. I'll be there. Next question, please. I never get invited to podcasts. I'm like the most hated guy in the entire podcasting community. I don't know why. But I got invited onto ACGs, which was the one that I like most anyway, so what a treat. This is so much better with the knowledge you recently gained. Wait. Oh, you've seen Tony's avatar, and because you... Yeah, I understand what's happening there. I haven't got an avatar. As soon as this is done, I'm making a damn avatar and I'm learning about meta. You have to tell me all about it. It won't be wholly gaming related, that's fine. We can talk about broken noses and other things. And your novel. You think I intimidate them? Maybe. I think part of it, Chronic, is that I'm genuinely all platform person and most podcasts stick to one or the other. Most, in fact, this is part answering Alex's question from earlier about how to grow on socials and have success and all of that. One thing that I do find to be very genuinely, legitimately true is like the broad populace only want to see things that reinforce their own views. So if people, particularly if they have really like staunch views about a thing, they just want to watch content that reinforces those staunch views. Which means if you do an Xbox podcast, you'll find people like episode 13 and they'll love you. And if you do a PlayStation podcast, you'll find people like PlayStation face and they'll love you because you're just like saying the things that they already believe. And that's not a thing I do. I sit in this really awkward place of just liking games. You'd think there were more people like that. This is why when I'm talking to ACG on his podcast, I refer to them as like a lifeline because they make me suddenly feel like there's a space in content creation for someone that's like me. But most of content creation around games is just people parroting the same stuff over and over because they like one platform or the other in a way that I don't fully understand. So it could be partly Chronic that I'm able to debunk everything they claim, not out of spite. Yeah, opposing views are not very welcome anywhere. And I'm not contrarian. I don't oppose things for the sake of opposing things, but I don't know. It is what it is. Loads of podcasts, but people like it, and it's like such a strongly observable situation that I have to assume, I have to recognize that I'm the one that's in the wrong. Like normal people like normal people things, and I'm just not a normal people. So be it. So be it. Right. Let's do... Aha! We ran out of questions. It is 12:15. This has been an exceptionally long show. And it's cool. Like I say over and over again, this stuff works because you will come and talk to me, and I appreciate it so much. Well spoken? I'm not well spoken. I'm a pleb. That's why YouTube keeps telling. They keep limiting my monetization because I swear too much. Yeah. There are plenty of people in the world who will like me when they know about me. Maybe, Isla, maybe. The world's a big place and there's a lot of people in it. So, who knows? Thank you, Chronic. I do. Like, even if it's not my own opinions necessarily, I've always been quite able to step back and understand other people's perspectives on things. So that helps in terms of being able to give and understand multiple perspectives. But right, I am going to... You are all here, Wayne, and it's awesome. Like I say, it is the reason that I've managed to carry this on for as long as I have and get these 1,000 subscribers and keep it going forwards and have this like epiphany moment where I'm like, no, focus on you people, because this is what makes it cool and what makes it fun. So it's all working for me. I'm happy with the situation. That is the end of today, though. This chair is still drastically uncomfortable. That's one thing I'm not happy with. I haven't played Atomic Heart, Alex. It's on the list. It's on the list. Chronic, you sent me another Twitter message. No worries, I will pick it up. I'm going to assume it's about the quest. Oh no, Replicant, you should have saved it. I'm going to set up an alert for that for next week. But yes, Happy New Year to everyone. Hope you have a brilliant 2024 and beyond. Because I'm that generous. I'm not even just wishing you 1 year. I'm wishing you all of them. And yeah, going to end this here with my special end button. Tomorrow I think is Baldur's Gate again, unless I get told otherwise. And... Bleh.
Asa. Game on Daily.